Tonight, we're on the campus of Baker High School for a region matchup with playoff implications in the balance. Baker limps in on a 2-game losing streak, while Daphne has won 5 in a row and looking to pick up their 10th win in a row over the Hornets. As Jim Morrow used to say, playoffs? You mean playoffs? Oh yeah, I said playoffs. And tonight, the winner will be sitting nice with a number 3 seed. Good evening and welcome to the Mcpss High School Football pregame show, brought to you by Bishop State. I'm Al Wheaton, he is Corey LeBounty, and Corey, I had to take you back with the Jim Morrow. We're talking about playoffs tonight, man.
Absolutely, a lot at stake in regards to, you know, you're going to travel as a 3 or a 4. It's just a matter of who your opponent may be.
Right.
So, again, these teams are going to lay it all on the line tonight, and it's so far in 8 weeks of football, it's been a tremendous season so far here along the Gulf Coast, and I look forward to this critical 7A Region 1 matchup.
Very big ball game. Matter of fact, we're going to show you the 7A Region 1 standings in a matter of moments. But, Corey, let's get to your checklist. Daphne comes in pretty hot tonight, riding that 5-game winning streak.
Absolutely, and what Daphne wants to try to do is make speed bumps. What do I mean by that is Baker likes to play with a lot of tempo, likes to have explosive plays offensively, so they want to try to slow this Baker offense down that averages almost 31 points per game. They don't want to play young and restless. What do I mean by that? Kenny King only has 17 seniors on this roster, and because of it, he has a fairly young team, and we'll talk about the youth at critical positions later on in the broadcast, and he wants to have explosive plays out. That's going to be very important. What do you consider an explosive play? Anything over 20 yards or more,
yeah.
And we're going to have a great offensive matchup tonight. When you start talking about the Baker Hornets, they need to protect the pigskin. These last couple of weeks, they have lost a turnover battle, so that's going to be critical for them tonight to try to make sure they don't, and they do control the turnover battle. Controlling down and distance, you want to stay ahead of schedule as far as your play calling. You don't want to get into second or third and long.
You don't.
You want to be very manageable. And home hide advantage.
I like that.
We know this is homecoming here, 2021 Baker style. So you want to get this Hornet hooligan crowd rocking this stadium.
Yeah, we are inside of the Hornets' nest. Coach Norman told me they had 3 pep rallies. It's homecoming week. They had a different theme every day, so the kids are very excited and geared up for this ball game for tonight. And the weather is being our friend, Corey. Today I got my car to go pick up my twins and carpool. My car said 100 degrees. I'm like, wait a minute, it's October. So let's take it down to the field and check in with Kimberly Dunn for the Bsn Weather Forecast. What we're looking like tonight, Kim?
It is definitely much better than 100 degrees. Right now we're feeling temperatures at 74 degrees, and it's just going to drop into the evening as we go all the way to 68 degrees. And something that is much better this week than it has been the past 2 weeks is that humidity. Right now we're feeling 66% humidity, but it will go up to 79%, which isn't too bad for us here in Mobile, Alabama. We're used to that humidity, but we're seeing clear skies and very little chance of rain, so we're looking forward to a great night of some football.
Now, we are having a great night. Kim, talk to us about the atmosphere down on the field. Corey, now we're on top of the press box, but what is it like down there right now?
Well, both of these teams just really know the magnitude of this game. There is so much excitement here tonight. Not only is it Baker's homecoming, but like you said, this is a chance at a good seat in those playoff rounds coming up, and it just really determines who they're going to play. So they really understand the magnitude, and both of these teams are hungry. They have come here hungry. Baker said it doesn't matter what's happened the past 2 weeks. What matters is what's happening tonight. And Daphne feels like they've kind of been coming in with like a winning streak, and they said, you know, we're hoping to just keep that momentum going. And Baker also feels like this could just be a history-making game for them tonight. He said, I feel like we have a lot of potential, and I just want to be able to show that to not only our players, but to the fans and the family members as well.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. We'll be checking back in with her later on. Of course, speaking of history, I have never experienced a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter flyover that I just had at a high school football game.
Right here in West Mobile, located close to the Coast Guard base
Sure
as
is.
well as the airport. So, again, you heard all that noise. That's exactly what it was.
Wow, and quite an impact it has. Speaking of impact, who are our impact players for tonight, Corey?
When you start talking about the Daphne Trojans, you have to look no further than the 6'4" defensive end, James Quinley. This young man is a big-time player, has almost 50 tackles on the season. And 8 is going to be great tonight on both sides of the football for Baker and Daphne. KJ Lacey, he's an outstanding freshman quarterback who was thrown into the fire just a few weeks ago, but this young man has really produced for the Daphne Trojans. We were watching him in warm-ups, and he can sling it. And you talk about the impact players for the Baker Hornets. Josh Flowers, folks, we had him earlier in the season in the first 7A Region 1 game. He came off the bench against Theodore. This young man has put up video game numbers, over 1,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns passing, only 2 interceptions, is a dynamic dual threat quarterback. And wide receiver / running back, Jamari Hawkins is the explosive playmaker for the Baker Hornets, Al. So look forward to them going to him early and often also. So it's going to be a wonderful offensive explosion tonight, I do believe, here in West Mobile.
Speaking of that offense, Corey, we have another ball game with the same type of mirror effect like we had last week with Viger and Williamson. Both of these teams are averaging about 30 points a ball game, only giving up about 17 to 18 points on defense. So I talked to J.C. Todd before the ball game. I said, Coach Todd, what are you going to try to do to slow these guys down? Because you practice against it. He said, we're just going to bring the house, Al. We're going to bring it tonight.
And that's what you have to do. Both of these teams have nothing to lose in regards to where they are going to leave it all out on the field.
Yeah.
And you're talking about Baker and Daphne all time. Baker is 0-9 against Daphne. So it's a situation where Baker wants to go ahead and end that winning streak by the Trojans. And there are a lot of little subplots that we'll be going into this contest tonight and telling the public about. So it's going to be a great 7A Region 1 matchup that I'm really excited about us broadcasting.
And speaking of 7A Region 1, if we get a chance, the guys in the truck, let's get up that graphic. So this is what's really going on here tonight. We know Fairhope is probably going to be the #1 seed. They have beat Theodore already. They're undefeated. Theodore has 1 region loss to Fairhope. Theodore beat Baker. Fairhope beat Baker. So it kind of leaves Daphne and Baker in this situation tonight. This is Daphne's last region game, Corey. They're going to play Spanish Fort next week. So this is it for Daphne. If they win, they win tonight, they're probably going to be #3. And look at Baker. If they get the win, they're probably going to move to #3. I don't want to talk about the nuclear option right now, which is Foley and Davidson. You start talking about upsets and tiebreak. I don't want to pull the nuclear option code right now, but there are possibilities. If Baker were to lose and Foley and Davidson happen to win out the next 2 weeks, we may have some head crunching going on next week, Corey.
Absolutely. From a number standpoint, 1A through 7A, sometimes it does go down to week number 11.
That's right.
Before we find out exactly where you're going to be. But anytime you have an opportunity to win your homecoming as well as win on your home field and secure a 3rd seed, that's exactly what Steve Norman and these Baker Hornets would like to do tonight.
And by getting that win tonight, it really takes the pressure off, because next week, Corey, I'm going to let the cat out the bag. Baker is playing Davidson next week. That's our next ball game as next week. So it's really huge. How they say, handle your business right now and get it on out the way. We do appreciate you joining us for the pregame show. Headed your way, we're going to have the kickoff. Got to thank our folks over at Bishop State for sponsoring the Mcpss pregame kickoff. Don't move. Toe meets leather up next.
I believe my child's school is probably one of the best ones I could have picked in Mobile. She's in the PACE program. The teachers are phenomenal. The principal, couldn't ask for a better principal. The research that I had done myself, I believe the quality of education in Mobile County Public School System is excellent. For me and my child, I'm going to stick with the public school system. I think it's the way to go.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
What's the matter, baby? You're not feeling good?
School-aged children are at a higher risk of getting and spreading germs and viruses. To help protect the spread, students are encouraged to stay home when sick. Parents, it's important for your child to remain at home at least 24 hours after they no longer have a fever of 100 degrees or higher without the use of medications. Please help us maintain a healthy learning environment.
We are live at Clem Richardson Stadium, also known as the Hornets' Nest, as the Daphne Trojans come in looking to solidify their playoff plans. Across the field sits Baker, ready to attack the Trojans and pick up their first win ever over Daphne and take hold of a playoff spot. This is one region battle you're going to want to witness, and we're about to give it to you. The Mcpss High School Football Game of the Week brought to you by Bishop State. Thanks for joining us. I'm Al Wheaton along with Corey Bounty. Covering the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. Corey, the Trojans and the Hornets are about to collide.
Absolutely, and when you start, again, we mentioned in our pregame, what's at stake? A 3 seed is definitely at stake here tonight at homecoming, and as we have crowd shots tonight, there's an outstanding feel for this high school football game. The crowd is going to be raucous. We mentioned the Hornet hooligans. The student body is totally filled as the band files back into the stadium. You couldn't ask for a better night of high school football.
Corey, you are right about that. Homecoming week here at Clem Richardson Stadium. I can't recall, Corey, we had our backs to the field, but I can't recall if a coin toss took place. Our statistician told me they don't recall seeing one either, but Daphne is going to receive this ball. Going back to receive for them, Tyler Bradley and Stephon Blackshear. So we just got word Baker did win the coin toss and deferred to the second half. So that explains that reason why, Corey. So Daphne will be taking possession here after this kickoff. Adam Gatta to boot it for the Hornets as we are moments away from starting this 7A Region 1 battle.
And it's important special teams kind of start and give you a rhythm of the outcome of this game. Let's see if Baker covers well here on the opening kickoff.
Still in the month of October, a lot of pink out tonight, giving commemoration to breast cancer awareness, and that kick goes out. Let's take a look at this Daphne offense coming onto the field. Leading the Trojans is freshman quarterback KJ Lacey. Lacey is a 66% passer, nearly 800 yards through the air for 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Running the ball for Daphne is junior Tyler Bradley. Bradley has nearly 600 yards rushing, averages 7.2 yards per rush. When Lacey throws, he's going to look for 2 juniors, Corey. Number 6, Stephon Blackshear, and number 1, Stacy Boykins. Blackshear is the Trojans' leading receiver. He averages 10 yards of reception. Boykins has 2 touchdowns with an 18-yard average per grab.
And Al, we mentioned, watch out for number 8 on both sides of the football, in white and in blue tonight. Both quarterbacks wearing the number 8 and are electric.
Some trickeration early here for the Trojans, trying to catch Baker off guard as they're looking for a possible double pass. Dumps that ball out to Blackshear, but Blackshear decides to run it after Baker had coverage. Picks up about 4 or 5, so we'll call it second and a long 5 here coming up for the Trojans.
A big stop by Jaden Campbell, the 6', 170-pound junior, makes his 12th solo tackle on the season, but good coverage staying at home by the Hornet defense.
Hand off to Ty Bradley, just talked about him. He picks up a couple of yards as Daphne's trying to pick up the first down of the ball game. We'll call this one 3rd and 4 coming up here for the Trojans, close to the midfield stripe.
Defensive coordinator J.C. Todd working and calling the signals from the sidelines for this Baker Hornet defense. That stopped by Tim Williams, this 5'10", 203-pound sophomore from his defensive end position.
Trojans in pistol formation, play action. Dumps it out to his receiver. That pass is complete. to Caleb Jones past the midfield stripe, and the Trojans in Hornets territory.
And it's just a nice rollout and thrown on the money. And you look at the ability to run over defenders, that means you're going to have to wrap up. Caleb Jones making his 18th reception of the season. The Trojans wasted no time getting to the line of scrimmage.
Ball on the 45-yard line. Ty Bradley. Nice run by Bradley, picks up the first down as the Trojans on the move. Take a look at that Baker defense. Hornets play a 3-4. Will linebacker Gary Byers leads the team in tackles, so we'll be calling Byers' name a lot tonight. He'll get help from Mike linebacker Antonio Williams. He'll work to clog up the Trojans' running gaps. In the secondary, sophomore strong safety KJ Beckham. He's going to be on tackle patrol, plus he plays a little wide receiver as well. And senior free safety Kel Bridford. That's the Swiss Army knife for Baker. Plays defense, offense, and some special teams as a direct snap to Bradley goes up the middle, Corey. Nice play call right there coming up from the Trojan.
You look at the offensive line push. I don't know if we're able to get a quick replay on that or not, but look at the push up front by this big O-line, whether it's Donahue, Galmeech, Stevens, Sasser, Willoughby. They open up that hole and allow Bradley to pick where he wanted to go. It's a second down and short for the Trojans.
Offensive coordinator Zach Golson goes with a little tempo right there, catches Baker off guard. 2nd and 3 coming up here. Daphne on the move as we start this contest. And off to the back. Nick Clark with that run. Weaves his way, maybe that's a hard-earned, about 2-yard gain there, Corey. 3rd and short coming up for the Trojans.
Absolutely. Donald Caver from his defensive end position, 6 foot, 222-pound senior, makes his 10th solo tackle on the season, does a good job disrupting that play now. We're at 3rd down, and we'll call it 2 yards to go for Daphne.
Wildcat formation, direct snap to Bradley. They did that previously, but a pre-snap penalty. Flags onto the field. So false start against Daphne. That'll push him back 5 yards. Not something Kenny King wants at that point, Corey. That could be a drive killer.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a situation where you've been driving down the field a good 3 minutes so far, 9:09 remaining here in the first quarter of action. But you go from a short distance, 3rd and 2. Now you're at 3rd and 7. You're going to probably throw the ball right here, and we'll get a chance to see number 8 in action.
Bradley goes into motion. Lacey throws it across the middle. That pass is intercepted by Baker, trying to take that one to the house. Almost. KJ Beckham, we talked about him earlier in the contest. A big, crucial turnover early in this ball game.
Beckham, the 5'11", 152-pound sophomore, off to the races as Lacey's pass looks like it was just tipped and off the ricochet. Beckham knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. He ran toward the numbers, and at the end, he tried to administer a nice stiff arm to gain additional yards. Tyler Bradley does a good job coming up with the stop to allow him to quit making a house call. So now you're at 1st down and goal to go for the Hornets right at the 3-yard line of the Daphne Trojans.
We'll get our first look at the Baker offense. Great field position here. 8:40 in the first quarter. Big turnover. Josh Flowers, a sophomore quarterback, goes with the old Tim Tebow jump pass, incomplete as Daphne knocks it down. 2nd down and goal coming up for Baker.
And sometimes what you want to do, you don't want to force the throw. Deontay Smith was the intended receiver on that play for the Hornets. And if it's not there, just let it go. But Josh Flowers, the blue number 8 for the Baker Hornets, is running the show. And we mentioned the versatility of this young man here, Al. We'll get a chance to see him inside the red zone area.
I thought he was going to run it in for a second there, Corey. But Chase Calcagney, offensive coordinator, they went with the old Tim Tebow jump pass. Hand off to Jamari Hawkins. He's got some blocking. He is in. That is a 3-yard score for the Baker Hornets as they get on the board early. Jamari Hawkins punches it in, and Baker strikes first.
And Hawkins, he can play wide receiver, he can play running back. He's just one of those explosive players for the Hornets. The 5'10", 170-pound senior has over 1,283 all-purpose yards on the season. He just scored his 5th rushing touchdown for the Baker Hornets. And here with 8:27, we have our first score. Definitely points off turnovers for the Hornets, as they're able to go ahead and capitalize off of that nice interception return that KJ Beckham did have.
Hunter Kill go on for the extra point. Kick is up, and it is good. Baker jumps out early, 7-0. Points off a turnover. That's what we call it. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
The Environmental Studies Center is a natural sciences education facility designed to provide unique learning experiences. In addition, wildlife rehabilitation plays a vital role each day at the center. Featuring more than 500 acres of rich woodlands, the center affords teachers, students, and the general public an opportunity to experience firsthand the natural environment. Environmental Studies Center. It starts with us in the Mobile County Public Schools.
We have early excitement here in the Hornets' nest. Baker capitalizes off that KJ Beckham interception, points off a turnover, and that is huge as the Hornets come out and steal a possession, basically, Corey, and get on the board first, 7-0 on top of Daphne.
The biggest thing is you got points off of that turnover deep in the red zone, because we've seen Baker jump up on Theodore early in the season, 14-0.
Sure did.
But not be able to hold on. But that does wonders for your crowd, the Hornet hooligans, and that gets the hive buzzing, most definitely.
Bradley on the return. Sorry, not Bradley. Stephon Blackshear on the return. Gets it up close to the 25-yard line. So our second look here at the Daphne offense. Coming onto the field, see what type of adjustments Kenny King and his coaches are going to make. Corey, their first series, great drive, had one penalty that pushed him back 5 yards. Unfortunately, the next play was a turnover.
Yeah, you go from 3rd down and 2 to 3rd down and 7, and all of a sudden you have an interception. So your play calling definitely changes. So that can show you the way and the importance that penalties can play in a contest. But I guarantee this young freshman, KJ Lacey, is going to show his composure and play the next play.
Nick Clark in the backfield. They hand it off to Clark. Daphne not only has one 500-yard runner, they have two. Clark has over 500 yards on the season rushing as well. Kind of reminds us of the throwback of the Theodore teams, kind of a 1-2 punch Daphne can give you tonight.
That's exactly what the Trojans are going to need, that type of balance. Gary Byers, the 5'9", 220-pound junior linebacker on the stop for the Baker Hornets, picked up 4 on that run.
2nd and 6 here. Ball sitting just past the 25-yard line. Play action. Lacey throws it, kind of has a sidearm delivery as he gets it out to Blackshear for a completion of maybe 2 or 3. It's going to be 3rd and long coming up for the Trojans.
Blackshear makes his 34th reception of the season, the 5'10", 160-pound junior. And now right in the middle of the field, offensive coordinator Zach Golson can open up this playbook to try to go ahead and extend this distance.
That pass incomplete. I believe it hit the ground first. Intended for his receiver, Stacy Boykins, and Daphne's going to have to punt.
The bad thing about that offensive series is the Trojans only took up less than 45 seconds total offensively on that offensive possession, and now you are going to punt to an electric young man, Javen Williams. So if he catches this cleanly, you'll be able to see the type of speed he does possess.
Timeout called by Baker. Coach Norman possibly didn't like something that he saw on the field. And Corey, you're right about Javen Williams. He's one of those explosive guys for the Hornets. He can do it on offense. He can do it on special teams as well. This is our third time seeing Baker this season, and we know he has big play capability.
Absolutely, Al. I'll tell you, if Jamari Hawkins or Javen Williams get past the line of scrimmage, that's probably not a track meet race you are going to win in regards to however long of a dash that you're trying to chase them from, because these two young men have burners for them for sure.
Yeah, you saw the speed of KJ Beckham on that interception that he brought back, trying to take that one to the house and score with a pick six, but gave the Hornets great field position. Ball sitting on the 3-yard line, and they punch it in. It's Al Weeden, Corey LeBounty. On the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn, Daphne versus Baker. You talked about it earlier, Corey. Baker has never defeated Daphne. They are 0-9, and Daphne last year beat Baker 50-25, but that was the most points Baker has ever scored against Daphne and still lost by 25. So when Daphne wins against Baker, it's pretty much in big numbers. Williams going to catch that ball about the 39-yard line as he feels it, takes it up to the 45. It'll be 1st and 10 for this Baker offense.
Jamarian Evans, the 5'11", 185-pound junior linebacker, makes the stop on special teams, and that's a great job of coverage. So now we'll see defensively what defensive coordinator Atlas Harrion is able to come up with for this Trojan defense. He's a defensive coordinator who played at the University of Alabama along with head coach Kenny King. And again, his defense is giving up 17.4 points per game, but Baker, Joshua Flowers here with a lot of room to work. We'll see how electric this young man can be.
Trip receivers to the top. Hawkins in the backfield with Flowers. Hawkins now goes into motion. It's just going to toss it out to him. His progress is stopped. Maybe about a 1-yard loss on that play. 2nd and 11 coming up here for the Hornets.
Good stop by Al Woodard, the strong safety who's a freshman, along with Jamarian Evans coming in from his linebacker position, making sure that swing pass did not gain any positive yardage. 2nd down and 11 yards to go for the Hornets, right at the 46-yard line.
Baker bringing in number 45, Cameron Wright. Kind of plays the H-back role for them, tight end. On the carry for the Hornets, Zion Davis gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 10 coming up here for Coach Norman and the Hornets.
Davis with his 22nd rushing attempt of the season, the 5'7", 183-pound junior. Not much there. Good job at the line of scrimmage.
Quinley in on the tackle there too, Corey.
And again, these Trojans run the 3-4 defense, so they're doing a good job of stepping into the gaps.
Ball just shy, a nose shy of the 45-yard line. Flowers trying to get the guys in motion. Play clock is under 5 seconds. They need to get it off. And I hear whistles. I don't think Coach Norman, did he get the timeout, Corey?
And if you want to save yardage, he definitely saw confusion, so he did get it in time.
He had to burn the timeout, so that's Baker's 2nd timeout here in the 1st quarter. You do not want to take that penalty right there. That'll push you back 5. So good call right there by Coach Norman and the Hornets. Daphne dressing out about 70 to 75 players. They have 4 returning starters on offense, just 2 on defense, Corey, and you talked about it. 17 seniors on the team, a very young team. A lot of these guys are freshmen also, but a lot of juniors and sophomores for the Trojans.
Yeah, Coach King isn't shy about putting the best players on the field, whether they're a freshman or a sophomore. It doesn't matter. It's just the next man up syndrome for this Daphne Trojan program.
Got to thank Firehouse Subs. Make sure you enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Thanks to Jim and Susie Sherman, always taking care of us with the good eats over at Firehouse Subs, so make sure you stop by. Also, big ups to BSN Sports, where you can get team apparel, equipment, baseball to wrestling, whatever the sport you need. BSN Sports, they have you covered. They're the heart of the game. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. Big 3rd down here coming up for the Hornets. Flowers going over the top, connects, Jamari Hawkins into Trojans territory. Big play right there, and the Hornets executed perfectly.
Flowers knows exactly where he wants to go, and that's going to be to his top wide receiver, who has over 850 yards receiving. Makes his 43rd reception of the season, does Hawkins. And this is a young man who was just offered by South Alabama here this week, and you can see the potential for this young man to go up and get the football and the versatility that he shows.
He definitely climbed the ladder right there to haul that one in. 1st and 10 for the Hornets. Just shy of the 30-yard line. Flowers has time, has room in the pocket, has a man, overthrows him. Incomplete, went back to Hawkins once again. Corey, he threw a bullet out there.
Just about a yard too far, and that's one he would like to have back, because he could have caught Hawkins in stride, and as soon as he threw it, Hawkins knew that it was going to be a tough grab for him, and Flowers pounded himself on the helmet knowing that he wanted that throw back, but he'll have plenty of opportunities here on 2nd down and 10 to get it right back.
That offensive line gave Flowers plenty of time to throw. They averaged 241 pounds. Give him more time, and he gets that one complete out to Javen Williams. I believe that's going to be enough for a 1st down, but there is a penalty marker on the field near the 30-yard line. I believe we have an ineligible player downfield.
DJ Jackson on the stop, but you go from 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Now, depending on where they're going to spot the football, to possibly 2nd down and close to 17 yards to go. Flowers just, again, his presence in the pocket as a 6'4" sophomore quarterback is remarkable. I've enjoyed watching his growth as he really exploded on the scene against the Theodore Bobcats.
Sure did.
Early in the season, and now this young man just continues to do a great job and continues to read the defenses and take what the Trojans are going to give him.
If you're just joining us, Baker jumped out on the lead early after an interception by KJ Beckham, took it down to the 3-yard line. Jamari Hawkins punched it in. Baker up 7-0. Hand that one off to Zion Davis. He's trying to get his way back to the original line of scrimmage, about a yard short, so it's going to be 3rd and 12 coming up for the Hornets.
James Quinnelly from his defensive end makes the stop, and you're not going to miss a 6'4", 290-pound senior making a tackle out there on the football field, and now you're looking at close to 3rd down and 12 yards to go for the Hornets. And with all the shifting and the motion that Coach Cal Cagney is showing, it's making the Daphne Trojans adjust. And it'll be interesting to see here if they put anybody in motion or they go ahead and go back to their top wide receiver, Hawkins or Williams.
Flags come on the field. That possibly could be a false start against Baker. And it is. Lack of mental concentration on the kids. That's going to push the Hornets back 5 yards, Corey. It'll be 3rd and long coming up here for the Baker Hornets.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things you want to stay away from if you're the Hornets. You go from a 3rd down and manageable now to 3rd down and close to 17 yards to go. And they do have a decent field goal kicker, but we saw 1 week ago a 59-yard field goal being made by the Fairhope Pirates.
Luke Freer for Fairhope. Coach Norman witnessed it. He said, I had to clap it even though it was against me, but witnessing a 59-yard field goal in high school is something else. And Coach Norman has burned his last time out, so we're going to take a break, meet you on the other side. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
If you look at the numbers, Mobile County Public Schools is making great strides. With more than 53,000 students, 7,000 employees, and 90 schools, we are consistently increasing our 4-year graduation rate and our first-class pre-K program. We continue to strive for national recognition and continue to prepare our students for the global workforce. And we do all of this with one goal in mind, to equip and empower college and career-ready graduates. Mobile County Public Schools. We're learning today, leading tomorrow.
Third and long coming up. The line to gain is the 22 of Daphne to get the first down. Flowers flushed into the pocket and just meets a wall as a few of the Trojans hold him up. So that timeout does not go the way Coach Norman wanted it, Corey.
Tyler Durant and James Quinley go ahead and crush the pocket that was created, and it's a situation to where if you're Baker, you're okay with that because you're going to put toe to leather and just try to flip the field in this situation. You've already controlled time of possession in this quarter as there's 2:15 remaining here in the first quarter, and Daphne's going to have an opportunity to have their third possession of the first quarter already.
Calvin Irby on the punt. Shot a Cam Long right there. Hornets clapping. Looks as if they got Daphne to jump off sides. So that'll push Irby 5 yards closer to punt this one. Low snap, hits the ground. Irby's got to get on top of it, trying to escape the Trojans. It's every man for himself now as Irby's trying to make something out of nothing, still on his feet and taken down at about the 27-yard line. Not enough to get the first down, but great wits about the young man to salvage the play, Corey.
Close to a 30-yard turnover right there because he had to chase the football down, and he's able to make a couple of nice moves, get back almost to the original line of scrimmage, and here he is, whoop, hits the circle button right there, and there's a nice block down the field as he cuts in front of Baker's sidelines. But again, that's just as equally as impressive as a punt because now the Daphne Trojans take over right at the 28-yard line, their own 28-yard line.
I'm sure special teams coach for Baker, Zach Ford, was proud of his young men. Corey, there were no crackback blocks, no penalty flags on that particular run right there. So it doesn't hurt Baker anymore. Play action. Lacey connects with Clark. Clark doing a little juking, a little moving. Just shy of the first down. Comes up maybe about 2 yards, maybe 1 yard short. We'll call it 2nd and 1 coming up here for the Trojans.
Keldrick Britford, the 5'8", 157-pound senior on the stop for the Baker Hornets. But again, it's a good productive play on offense on the first down for the Trojans. 2nd down and 2 yards to go.
As you said, Daphne's third time touching the ball here in the first quarter as they hand it off to Bradley. Up the middle he goes to get the first down and a bit more. Ball at about the 43-yard line of Daphne as we approach 70 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
Byers and Britford sound like attorneys on the
stop. Sure does.
For the Baker Hornets, but not before the Trojans are able to pick up the first down and going quickly with the tempo that may bother Baker as the game goes on.
They fake it to Bradley, going over the top, trying to connect with Blackshear. That's just a moon ball. He could not pull it down. I believe, Corey, he may have become disoriented. He was looking left, then he had to turn and look over his shoulder and look right. But that ball was thrown high in the air by KJ Lacey. Jaden
Brooks does a good job getting pressure from his linebacker position, pushing the blocking back Bradley almost into Lacey, but the 5'10", 177-pound junior did not allow the timing of KJ Lacey to throw that ball with his feet planted. And like you said, it caused the ball to go very, very high on that throw.
Have you noticed on the replay, the ball bounced off of the face mask of Blackshear. Hand off to Bradley. Boy, that offensive line is working for Daphne once again. Big run by Ty Bradley up the middle as he crosses the midfield stripe. Daphne close to another first down.
And anytime you start talking about Keldrick Britford, the safety on that 2nd and 3rd level of this Baker defense making the stop, that's going to be a problem because, again, time of possession, the opening drive by the Trojans was a very dominant drive before the interception took place.
Nick Clark with the direct snap. There's the other 1-2 punch for the Trojans as he plows ahead for a first down. And we're going to plow ahead into the second quarter here. Only 10 seconds remaining here in the first. Clock sitting right on the 40.
It just briefly stops for that first down
briefly
movement.
Stops, that's right.
Now we're going to come to the conclusion, as you just mentioned.
Direct snap back to Clark once again. Daphne trying to take advantage of it. Catch Baker sleeping. And Clark pushes ahead for about a 7 or 8 yard gain. That's going to wrap it up for the first quarter as Baker's on top 7-0. We'll come back and give you second quarter action of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
When we say Bishop State Community College is a great place to start, we really mean it. Want to major in psychology, engineering, criminal justice, English, history, or something else? Take your general education courses with us, then transfer your credits to the four-year university of your choice. Want to learn a trade and go straight into the workforce? We have the programs and the training to help you land a high-wage and high-demand career. Save time and thousands while conveniently taking classes safely online or on campus. Register now, bishop.edu.
We welcome you back to the Hornets' Nest for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Al Whedon, Corley Bounty on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn wrapping up the first quarter. If we're able to get the first quarter statistics up, we'll let you know what we're looking like here as Daphne is on the move to start the second quarter. Ball's going to be placed at the 32-yard line of Baker.
And here we are at Clem Richardson Stadium on a beautiful Friday night for high school football. First quarter, both teams had an opportunity to possess the ball at least twice. The Trojans are currently having their third drive of the game, and they're trying to make some noise as points off turnovers early in the first quarter were how the Baker Hornets got their score.
KJ Lacey back into the ball game. Previous two snaps, they went Wildcat. One to Bradley and one to Clark. Toss it out to Bradley. He cuts, picks up a couple yards. Let's take a look at the first half statistics, Corey. As you can see, the rushing right there by Daphne, clearly dominant, 60 yards rushing. Baker didn't have to do too much. They only had to go 3 yards that first possession to get a touchdown. But on their second drive, as you see, they weren't too fruitful.
All about points off turnovers in this situation. The one really stands out, and that one being the turnover by the Trojans. That was a nice interception return deep into the red zone territory by KJ Beckham in the first quarter. And now you're in a situation to where our score leads 7-0. The Hornets are over the Trojans.
So you got a block in the back against Daphne. It's going to push the Trojans back. Be 2nd and 10 coming up here for Daphne. Trip receivers to the near side for Lacey. He's looking that way, but he goes to his left, dumps it down to Bradley. Catches the Hornets off guard, and look at Bradley go as he's punched out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Mike Herndon is out and about tonight. Let's check in with him, see where he is at tonight. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, I'm back at C.A. Douglas Field here in Theodore tonight for a big 7A Region 1 matchup between Theodore and Foley. And we just had what looks like may have been a turnover here right in front of me, so you can hear the crowd noise. Theodore's leading 10-0 early in the second quarter. Drove down inside the 10, and got stop runs inside the 5 in the first quarter for a 20-yard field goal by Miguel Frias. And Kirsten Rogers has just put them up, 9-0. They missed the extra point on about a 15-yard touchdown run. So we're at 9-0 with about 10:19 left in the first half.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. We'll be checking back in with him. Corey, that's one of those nuclear options I talked about earlier. You know, you're pretty much looking like a situation where Theodore would have to lose tonight, Fairhope would have to lose tonight to keep other teams' playoff hopes alive. But right now, Theodore up 9-0 over Foley. Bradley with the run. And while Mike was talking, a nice run by Nick Clark for the Daphne Trojans to get them into the red zone.
And there's going to be an injury, I do believe, by the Baker Hornets. That's going to be Gary Byers, who's going to be slow to get up for the Baker Hornets. You can see him at the bottom of the pile, kind of grimace.
He's their leading tackler, Cora.
Absolutely.
And that was in the nether region. You don't ever want to get hit there. So they'll give him a moment to come off the field and get his bearings together. Good shot of the helmet right there for the Hornets. We told you it's homecoming for Baker this week. And they really want to get a win, come in on a 2-game losing streak, lost to Fairhope last week, and the week before that they traveled over to Pine Forest, played a very competitive team, Coach Norman told me. He said it's the type of game we need to get ready to kind of get into the playoffs, but 2 back-to-back losses. Baker trying to get on the winning streak. Direct snap to Nick Clark. There's that other 1-2 punch, and he's going to punch it on in, Corey, for a touchdown, I believe about 3 yards there for the Daphne Trojans.
Officially, when you start talking about Nick Clark and his rushing ability, that's his 9th rushing touchdown of the season. The 5'6", 195-pound sophomore looks like a bowling ball when he's going into that end zone, and he goes in untouched, scoring the Trojans' first touchdown of the game.
Braylon Beard on for the extra point. Puts it up and is good. We're notched up at 7. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
Don't forget to mark your calendars coming up. November 11th, that is Veterans Day. All schools and offices will be closed, so make sure you mark your calendar. November 11th, all schools and offices will be closed in observance of Veterans Day.
Big time score and answer for the Trojans in this situation, so we'll see if defensively they can step up to the plate, and they've dominated time of possession. This one's going to be returned from the 1.
Jamari Hawkins on that return gets it up to about the 25-yard line. Nice return by Hawkins. And so we're tied up here at 7 with 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Baker looking to answer that score. That was a nice drive put together by the Trojans as they drove down the field. Hopefully we get that scoring drive summary up, let you know how long it was. But a lot of Wildcats to Nick Clark and also to their running back Ty Bradley as well. There's that scoring drive. 72 yards, 10 plays, capped off by that 4-yard run by Nick Clark.
And again, time of possession right here. Baker has the quick strike ability, and we'll see if Flowers is able to answer that score of the Trojans by one of his own.
Coming out of the pistol formation, Flowers just going to keep this one. He's the Hornets' leading rusher as well as the leading passer for them, thrown for over 1,400 yards so far this season, rushed for more than 700. This young man has come out of nowhere, Corey. You talked about it. We saw him against Theodore, and he has not looked back since that ball game.
Absolutely, and it's a young man who has a tremendous arm on him, and he has speedy wide receivers that can run under the football. So one-on-one coverage, you have to have help over the top for these speedy wide receivers.
Just keeps that one in the belly, takes it out, and goes across the midfield stripe as they run that RPO. Josh Flowers.
And as you just mentioned, the young man has 90 rushes on the season with 11 rushing touchdowns, decides to go ahead and keep it. And to me, when he gets it in the second gear, the first gear is kind of slow, but as soon as he gets past the line of scrimmage and gets that full steam ahead, he gets faster as he gets into his run. He doesn't have that initial burst, but as he continues to grow as a quarterback, I think that's one of the things that will continue to be one of his strengths is his speed, his agility, and his quickness.
And Corey, you're taking me back to my college days when I had a 5-speed. Always getting out of first into second, get going, man. So Baker calls timeout. I thought they were out of timeouts, but apparently not. So they're going to grant Coach Norman a timeout here at 8:46. He's not seeing what he likes, so he wants to call a timeout and discuss things here. Very crucial possession coming up here for the Hornets. Got to thank our folks over there at Bishop State for all the fine things they're doing for us. Did you know you can take your general education or basic classes at Bishop State and then transfer those credits to any public four-year institution in the state of Alabama? This way, you can earn your associate's degree at a fraction of the cost, then be well on your way to earning your bachelor's degree. Plus, there are transfer scholarships available to help students succeed at the next level. Learn about all this and more at bishop.edu. Bishop State, a great place to start. Also, we're going to give you the Chick-Fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge coming up at halftime. Try to give us another winner as Kimberly Dunn goes into the stands and finds a spectator and asks them a question. Hopefully, they'll get it correct and win a Chick-fil-A prize pack during the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Baker going with some misdirection. That pass incomplete to Rod Taylor. Chase Calcagney trying to catch Daphne off guard, and Taylor couldn't haul it in. It'll be 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation now. At 3rd down and 10 yards to go, 2nd down is what the down marker across the field is listed at.
I thought it was 3rd, but it says 2nd.
An open book now if you're offensive coordinator Chase Calcagney, because again, you have those speedy wide receivers along with Hawkins.
They give it to Hawkins out of the pistol formation. He picks up maybe one as he runs directly into Tyler Durant and the rest of that Trojan defensive line. So now it's going to be 3rd and a long 9 here for the Hornets. Baker comes into the ball game dressing out about 87 players. They have 26 seniors, returning 4 on offense and 3 on defense. Right now, empty set for Josh Flowers. Hawkins going to line up in the slot. Flowers gets the pass off, incomplete.
Fumble.
And that ball comes out. That ball went to KJ Beckham, but he drops it onto the turf, and Daphne pounces on it for our 2nd turnover of the night.
Good strip by the Daphne defense as he had enough of that 1st down, and you start talking about the nice can opener defensive takeaway by the Daphne Trojans. Al Woodard with that takeaway, and just like that, the Trojans have evened up this turnover battle and are trying to go ahead and try to score on back-to-back offensive possessions, as they were able to put their first 7 points on the board just moments ago, and now are going to try to capitalize. Baker already has 7 points off turnovers.
Right.
Now we're going to see if the Trojans are able to score 7 points off of their turnover.
Beckham had the interception earlier, but couldn't hold on to that one. Holding on to this is Ty Bradley, and boy, he is doing a run past the midfield stripe. Big run right there by the Trojans, as they are now in Hornets territory again.
Well, what you do is you just toss it, a nice toss sweep to Tyler Bradley. You get your big offensive lineman blocking down the field, and you let Bradley weave around the defenders, run downhill, tremendous downhill run by Bradley. Bradley again with the carry
once
quickly.
Again, up to the 40-yard line. Daphne on the move as we are approaching 7 minutes here remaining in the 2nd quarter. And that Baker defense back out on the field again, Corey, looking a bit tired
Something
and
to
winded.
keep your eye on, because, again, the time of possession is definitely favored the Daphne Trojans here in the first half of action.
Continuing to feed that ball to Bradley, and look at him cut and plant those feet and come back. It's another 1st down as they move the sticks closer to the 30-yard line.
And that's a great job, again, of the offensive line of the Daphne Trojans, creating great running lanes on the outside and the perimeter for the running backs for the Trojans.
Now they go with the other punch. Nick Clark, look at him weave his way. Picks up about 4 on that carry. We'll call it 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Trojans.
And that's what you try to do if you're Baker. Just try to go ahead and have your interior lineman just get a hand or a jersey and try to slow down these Trojan running backs, because, again, if they get past the line of scrimmage, they're able to run downhill with a lot of momentum.
Handoff once again to Clark. Takes his time, lets the hole develop. He's kind of hit like a spin top right there at the 25-yard line, maybe the 24. It's going to be 3rd and short coming up for Daphne.
Jaden Campbell does a great job of making sure that no more yards were gained, but here it is now, 3rd down and 2 yards to go. The Trojans want to stay away from any penalties here on 3rd down and short, and I guarantee that offensive coordinator Zach Golson is going to go with the big meat and potatoes of his running backs that he's gone with so far on this drive.
Direct snap to Bradley as he comes in off of that break. They send Lacey out, and he's going to have enough, I believe, for the 1st down.
Just enough for that 1st down.
Sticks are moving.
Anthony Garrett on the far sidelines making that spot of the football for the officials. And nice drive so far for the Daphne Trojans.
Really is. How they're keeping Baker on their toes, keeping them surprised. Good job of play calling there by offensive coordinator Zach Golson. Very impressed with the young freshman quarterback, KJ Lacey. They go back to Clark once again. He goes up the middle. We're going to go down to the sidelines. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn. What's happening, Kimberly?
Hey, I was able to talk with both of these coaches before the game and ask them what they needed to do in order to get this win tonight. And both of them equally had to say that we need to have no turnovers tonight. And unfortunately, we have seen a turnover from both of them, as well as penalties. And they said those are things that they have to eliminate. No turnovers, no mistakes, less penalties. They said we have to be consistent. And so far, we've seen Daphne controlling most of the tempo for the night and to capitalize on that and continue to do so.
Thank you, Kimberly. Daphne definitely taking advantage of it. Right now, Coach King is going to call a timeout. He wants to discuss things. 2nd and about 6 coming up here, 4:35. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with more action. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose.
Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Got a shout out to everyone on the Eastern Show watching us on the stream tonight, Corey. YouTube and Facebook as well. We do appreciate the support. Ty Bradley putting up early numbers, already has 90 yards. Our statistician Matt Moore shared that with me. And they toss it back to him, Corey. And that's a fumble, ball on the turf. And it looks like Baker has come up with it. Last man coming up out the pile for Baker, number 12, Antonio Young, falls on top of that costly turnover for the Trojans.
Turnover in the red zone area nonetheless, and you're talking about a nice drive that goes for naught. And that's the 2nd time now that the Trojans have turned over the football, and it's going to give this Hornet Hooligan fans a lot of life and juice. And we'll see if Baker's offense can get it in gear here in the last 4:25 of the first half, because the defense has been on the field for so long. The offense needs to string together a couple of first downs. But don't be surprised if you see a kill shot right here, one-on-one coverage at the top of your screen by these blazing fast wide receivers.
Little toss to KJ Beckham on the jet sweep. He picks up about 6 or 7. Nice play call right there for the Hornets. Kimberly just talked about it, Corey, turnovers. That's our 2nd turnover here in the 2nd quarter, and quite costly for Daphne, as they were sure driving in, if not a touchdown, a possible field goal. But right now, a turnover costly to them. Baker takes over, 2nd and 4 coming up here as we are under 4 minutes. Baker's got to run this 4-minute offense, as you like to talk about it, Corey.
Very manageable right here down and distance situation for Flowers.
Hand off to Zion Davis, and boy, he is wrapped up by Tyler Durant. in the backfield. That'll push him back about a yard or two. It'll be 3rd and 5 coming up here for the Hornets.
Big stop by Durant, the 6'2", 245-pound sophomore nose tackle, making sure that he gets a tackle for loss in the defensive statistic category. And now you start talking about right at 3rd down and 4.5 yards to go for Baker. And I just mentioned they want to go ahead and keep this defense off of the field. The Hornet defense has been on the field a long time.
Flowers throws it over, connects with his receiver, Javen Williams, and that's enough to get the first down. Big 3rd down conversion right there for the Hornets.
And that's exactly what you have to have if you are the Baker Hornets, a fresh down and distance situation.
3:02 remaining here in the first half. Don't forget at halftime, it is homecoming, so we'll have some homecoming festivities. Also, we'll look at some playoff scenarios taking place here on the Gulf Coast and our Chick-Fil-A halftime trivia challenge with Kimberly Dunn. So all that on tap coming up at halftime. Flowers thought about giving it to Hawkins, and all he did was run into Quinley, and Quinley did not let him go, Corey.
And there's going to be a Baker Hornet down on the field, which is going to stop the clock with 2:52 remaining here in the second quarter of action.
One of those offensive linemen, Peyton White, the center, down right now, as the Daphne Trojans trainers got to him first. They take a look at White right there. As we told you in the pregame show, Daphne averaging 32 points on offense, allowing 11 points on defense. Baker, on the converse, averaging 32 points, giving up about 18 points on defense. So these teams very closely matched, almost mirror images of each other as they come into this ball game, trying to get a win and really solidify their playoff positioning, as we have one more season of action for the regular season remaining. Next week, it's the last week for regular season, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, this whole entire year has just absolutely flown by. And when you start talking about having homecoming and senior night for all the teams across the entire state of Alabama, we're just glad that we're, once again, able to play this football season amidst the pandemic and the backdrop of the pandemic 1 year ago on top of this year.
Correct.
So, again, these kids and cheerleaders and band members giving it their all here in the fall sports season.
So Peyton White will go out. They're going to replace him with Sawyer Colvin. Let's see how the center to quarterback snap goes. Hawkins comes into motion. They get him on the jet sweep. Boy, he cuts through that hole right there, opened up by his tight end, Cameron Wright. About a yard short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and short coming up here for the Hornets. They're going to place it at the 35-yard line.
Garrett Childress, the 5'10", 190-pound junior, on the stop for Daphne, but we've seen that pop pass by the Baker Hornets run with a lot of success, especially when you have the speed of Hawkins and Javen Williams receiving that football. But now you're at a 3rd down and 1 yard to go with the 6'2" quarterback who knows how to push the pile forward.
Critical play right here for the Hornets. A little delayed snap. They give it to Hawkins. He's trying, but he's going nowhere. Baker's out of timeouts, 1:52 here.
And that's critical as far as not being and having any more timeouts at your disposal.
Can't discuss it.
In this situation, you're either going to take the delay of game penalty, but as you're trying to decide whether you want to go for it or punt it, I think you want to flip the field personally. So there's 20 seconds remaining on the play clock, 1:30 remaining on the game clock, and the Trojans are going to have an opportunity to try to go ahead and score right here before the half.
Baker has only punted one time tonight, but actually they didn't punt. It was a low snap, and Calvin Irby had to rescue it and try to make something out of nothing. But he actually gets this punt off. Blackshear stays away from it. A little backspin. You don't want that for the Hornets. So they're going to down it at about the 39 or 40-yard line with 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining here in the first half. Daphne's going to get the ball back.
And we'll see what happens here as far as offensive coordinator Zach Golson opening up the playbook. They've already had 2 turnovers here in the first half of action, so you don't want to risk a third going into halftime. So you again have the big bruising backs. Bradley and Clark both have had a lot of success on the toss sweeps and hitting the holes on the perimeter. So we'll see if they go back to that or they decide to go ahead and take their shot here to try to throw to Blackshear or Caleb Jones.
63 seconds remain in the half. Ball on the 41-yard line of Daphne. Play action. Wide open. Wide open. Caleb Jones redeems himself, Corey. Gets the first down, but most importantly, gets out of bounds.
He does get out of bounds with 59.2 seconds remaining, and that's just a great play design as you go ahead and you rotate the pocket, scramble the pocket to the right side.
Nice catch.
Hit Jones, and he tiptoes along the sidelines before he gets out of bounds.
Little quick toss to Bradley, almost like a screen they set up. Bradley gets out of bounds just in front of the first down marker at the 39 of Baker. He goes out around the 40. Well, I mean, he's close. Let's see where they spot this. No, first down. They're going to move the sticks. First down.
Nice dump down to Bradley, and it's just a good read. You take what the defense gives you, trying to get into field goal range right here before the end of the half, and Daphne still has 2 timeouts remaining, I do believe.
Lacey hauls off on this one, has a man, cannot connect with Stephon Blackshear, in and out of the hands. He laid out for it, could not haul it in. Nice way to take the kill shot right there from Daphne. Let's take a look at a replay.
And his wide receiver stretches out for it, as you see the side-on throw by KJ Lacey, and this young man does have over 800 passing yards on the season so far for Daphne, but now you're at second down and 10 yards to go with 40.1 seconds remaining as we are knotted up at 7 apiece.
Nick Clark, KJ Lacey looking to the sideline for the call. Play clock at 3 seconds, 2. They get it off. Setting up another screen for Nick Clark. Kind of loses his footing. Corey reminds me of like Jerome Bettis. He's a big guy, but man, he's nimble on his feet. Look at him run and duck and dodge.
Absolutely, the young man knows what to do with it. It's going to be a timeout probably called here by Daphne so they can go ahead and gather themselves with 27 seconds remaining here in the first half of action at Clem Richardson Stadium.
Look at Clark right there. Composed himself, kept those feet going. Just short. About 4 yards short of the first down. Don't forget the Chick-Fil-A halftime trivia challenge is coming up. We'll allow Kimberly Dunn to head into the stands and pick a spectator, ask them a question. She'll give them the answer in multiple choice form. Hopefully they'll answer correctly and win a Chick-fil-A prize pack. Corey, I know you love the multiple choice.
Absolutely love the multiple choice, love Chick-fil-A, and love 7A football as Hoover is taking on Thompson at the Hoover Met, and Thompson is on top of Hoover 20-10 in the second quarter.
That big ball game right there. As we have a big one here, we talked about it going into the contest. The winner of this game tonight will either be facing Auburn or Central Phoenix City as the number 3 seed. You would probably want to be 3 rather than 4. Then you know you're going to be facing that number 1 seed.
Well, anytime you have to travel to Central Phoenix City, you change time zones.
Yes, you do.
So that's never a nice bus ride that you have to make. But we'll see right here if the Hornet Hooligans fans can get behind this defense and get them a stop here.
Baker needs a stop. Empty set. Lacey zips it across the middle to Bradley. Incomplete. Stops the clock at 21.6 seconds. Decision time here for Kenny King and his coaching staff. I believe they'll probably go for this. As the ball is placed at the 38-yard line. Daphne has been in Baker's territory all night long and definitely running time of possession tonight. Bradley just to the left of Lacey. They're going to go for it. I thought that was the case. Quarterback keeper. He has plenty of room. Still in bounds and ducks out at about the 16-yard line. Great call right there.
And
Great
if you're
call.
the secondary, you just want to make sure that you go ahead and take a quick peek to see if the quarterback has gone past the line of scrimmage, so you can disengage with the wide receiver and go make a play from your secondary position. But a great job by the freshman KJ Lacey. Go ahead and tucking it, running out of bounds, and stopping the clock with 12.9 seconds remaining here in the second quarter.
So Daphne is going to line up to kick this one here. Setting up for a 39-yard field goal is Baylor Beard. That's his jersey number 39. And that field goal is good. Coach Kenny King didn't want to roll the dice, Corey. He leaves 8 seconds on the play clock, on the game clock. But if something happened, he had another play to go with, but kicked it on first down, and Beard drives it through.
Well, the biggest thing is you know where your kicker is comfortable, and you know exactly where he wants the football, where they were able to spot the football, didn't want to take an opportunity to go ahead and turn it over. So what you're looking at is very similar to what we saw in the Fairhope-Baker game. I think we were at 10 apiece in that game at halftime, and here it is. That game went into halftime with a field goal that Fairhope made of some 59 yards, and here it is now. The opponents, the Daphne Trojans, make a field goal going into halftime as they take a 3-point lead, which is their first of the night.
Sure is. Daphne gets points out of that situation. We've had 3 turnovers here in the first half, 2 against Daphne and 1 against Baker. But Daphne has been in Baker's territory all night, as I said on the previous play, and they connect on that field goal. 8.4 seconds remaining here. Let's see where Beard is going to kick this one. It wouldn't surprise me if he just nails it right up the middle rather than giving it to these explosive returners. Just squib it right down the middle.
Absolutely. I would squib it because, again, you take a chance for them to go ahead and have a big-time return.
That's pretty much what they do. One of the up guys, his knee touched down. So Baker will get this ball just shy of the 20-yard line. Chandre Young fielded that. So they're going to place it at the 18-yard line. 6.3 seconds remain here in the first half. As they say, Corey, it ain't over until it's over. And Baker saw that last week, as you talked about, with that 59-yard field goal by Luke Freer for Fairhope.
Absolutely. And, you know, a Hail Mary here. Josh Flowers has probably one of the strongest arms in the city, if not the state of Alabama.
Right.
And you're looking at the Trojans defense. They have 3 defenders back some 40 yards, so they're not going to let any wide receivers get past them if they decide to try the Hail Mary. But 6.3 seconds remaining. If I'm Coach Norman, I don't even take an opportunity to throw a Hail Mary here.
I think they're going to just take the knee. But we have a flag on the play before we even start that. So delay of game against Baker, push him back 5 yards. And Flowers just going to get under the center, Sawyer Colvin. As we didn't see Peyton White come back into the ball game. He went out injured on Baker's previous series. So there is your first half. Fairhope on top, 10-7. Very interesting first half, Corey. We had 3 turnovers, but we only have a total of 17 points between 2 teams.
Absolutely, and when you start talking about where things are, it's a turnover game because we've had points off turnovers for both of these teams.
Let's take it down to the field and check in with Kimberly Dunn.
Coach Norman, you had to use your timeouts pretty early in the first half of the game. How do you feel that affected you tonight?
It didn't affect us that much. We were fine with that. It was just some things that they were doing. We got to make sure we had the right personnel on the field for what they were doing defensively. It was not that big of a deal. My other thing is just making our offense a little bit more effective and making sure we get some points on the board.
Yeah. So what are you going to tell your team to improve in the second half?
To do that, we got to just make sure our efficiency just improves a little bit on offense. We're doing great defensively. We're making stops here, stop there, getting the turnovers. We got to stop giving them the opportunities, though, by turning the balls over ourselves. We correct that, we'll be fine.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you, Kimberly. All right, Corey, there it is. Coach Norman said they're getting the turnovers, but they're not capitalizing on offense.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about time of possession, probably totally dominated by the Daphne Trojans through the first 24 minutes. I'd be willing to bet you the Trojans probably had close to 15 minutes of time of possession, and that's the difference here is they were able to score that field goal going into the half.
All right, it's homecoming here at the Hornets' Nest. We're going to have some homecoming activities, plus the Chick-Fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Headed your way. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Daphne up by 3.
This is a program for any middle school student who's actually behind. This opportunity offers kids a chance to do 2 grades in 1 year.
If it wasn't for Star Academy, I would still be in 8th grade and probably still struggling.
We are one-on-one. We have small classrooms, and we're able to give students that personal touch, that personal attention.
I know I'm coming to see good teachers, good attitude, and also they're here to teach us what we need to learn.
Our children with special needs deserve a place to play. That is why we are coming together to build the Miracle League of West Mobile Schmidt Family Park. It will include a special needs ball field and playground, regulation baseball and softball fields, and more. We have raised more than $1 million and construction will start soon. But we need your help to complete the project. Visit mcpss.com/Miracle League to donate and to learn more. Any dollar amount will help bring a smile to a child's face. Together, we can make a miracle.
When we say Bishop State Community College is a great place to start, we really mean it. Want to major in psychology, engineering, criminal justice, English, history, or something else? Take your general education courses with us, then transfer your credits to the 4-year university of your choice. Want to learn a trade and go straight into the workforce? We have the programs and the trainings to help you land a high-wage and high-demand career. Save time and thousands while conveniently taking classes safely online or on campus. Register now, bishop.edu.
We welcome you back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. It's halftime. Daphne on top 10-7. Al Weed and Corey LeBounty here with you on the sidelines. We have Kimberly Dunn. Corey, interesting first half as we talked about it going into the break. A total of 3 turnovers, but only 17 points between both of these ball clubs tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when you start looking at the explosiveness, both teams average almost 30 points, as you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And because of it, it's really been a defensive struggle. I expected to see fireworks offensively, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And I thought that both teams were going to struggle to stop one another in regards to their offense, and that hasn't been the case so far.
Well, they always say it's a number behind the story behind the numbers. Let's put the numbers up right now. And there it is, Corey. Look at the rushing yards by Daphne, 150. Our statistician Matt Moore told me earlier, right before Ty Bradley had that fumble, he had 90 rushing yards at that point. So look at this rushing, just outstanding by Daphne tonight.
216 total yards of offense for the Daphne Trojans, only 100 for the Hornets. Now that's something I want to take a look at in the second half as far as Baker's defense being on the field for a tremendous long time.
Sure
and
was.
When you start talking about being able to catch your breath and having your offense produce, yes, Baker is explosive and has the ability to hit you real quick with explosive plays, but Daphne's done a good job so far of limiting those explosive plays.
There's our scoring summary. Baker with that early 7 points right there off of an interception from K.J. Beckham. He picked off Bradley, and then the next 2 plays later, Jamari Hawkins runs it in for a 3-yard score. And from then on, Corey, Daphne pretty much kind of controlled the tempo, controlled things. They picked up their own touchdown. Nick Clark, after a 70-yard drive, a 4-yard touchdown. And just a moment ago, we saw their kicker, Baylor Beard, punch in a 39-yard field goal on first down, as a matter of fact. And Coach King leaves 8 seconds on the clock.
Clark and Bradley definitely the workhorses for this Trojan offense. And we knew going in, you mentioned the 1-2 punch. It's always great when you do have a 1-2 punch offensively, being able to run the football because you're able to grind time off of the clock. So we'll see what adjustments J.C. Todd and his defense do make here in the second half of action.
All right, I think it's time for our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Kimberly Dunn is ready. She has a participant. Take it away, Kimberly.
What do you want to be when you grow up? All right, we are here with our Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, and I have a very lucky student who actually goes here to Baker. What's your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Kaylee-Ann. I go to Baker High School.
Yeah, what grade are you in?
10th.
You're in 10th grade. Wow. And do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
A horse rider.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Okay, so are you ready for our Chick-fil-A trivia challenge? If she answers this question correctly, she will win some Chick-fil-A gift cards as well as our prize pack. So here's your question. Which of these is not an Alabama city, okay? Is it A, Montgomery, B, McIntosh, C, Mayberry, or D, Mount Vernon? What do you think is not an Alabama city?
Mount Vernon?
No, that is an Alabama city. Okay, you want to give it one more try?
Is it C?
C, Mayberry. That is correct. That is not a city in Alabama. All the rest of them are. Congratulations. There's your Chick-fil-A gift cards. They're in my hand right there. And your prize pack. Hopefully you have some friends and family you may want to share that with.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You can wave at him. Bye.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
It was so nice meeting you.
And we have another winner for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. It's halftime here on the campus of Baker High School here at the Hornets Nest, and it's also homecoming as well. So keep it right here. We'll have more festivities. Plus, we'll take a look at some of the playoff scenarios taking place here in our area. You're watching the McPss High School Football Game of the Week.
It's time to be together again.
To make it safe for our grandparents and parents.
To see live music.
To see our teams play in packed stadiums again.
For our kids to go back to school.
Play sports and get back in the classroom. Masks off.
Masks off.
Masks off.
It's time to get back to doing what we love with who we love.
But it's up to you.
But it's up to you.
But it's up to you.
It's time to talk to your doctor about getting vaccinated.
For your family,
your children,
and our community. Together, if we vaccinate,
COVID-19 can't put us back inside again.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
It is homecoming here at Baker High School inside of the Hornets Nest. As the homecoming activities continue to take place, Al Weed and Corley Bounty, Kimberly Dunn down on the sidelines. Let's take a look at some region standings as the proceedings still take place, Corey. So here's 4A Region 1. Viger has pretty much won this region as they claim it with that win over Williamson this past week. 8-0 overall, 5-0. They're playing St. Michael tonight. I saw earlier they were down 1 point, 7-6 to St. Michael. And St. Michael trying to stay in the playoff hunt, Corey, because you have 4 teams at 3-2 in 4A Region 1.
Yeah, that's just an absolute cluster or log jam when you start talking about it, because again, Williamson and Mobile Christian playing one another tonight. You have St. Michael and Viger playing one another, and again, you start talking about the head-to-head matchups. It's going to be interesting to see who goes ahead and is eliminated. Outside looking in that 5th seed, there's going to be a pretty good team staying home.
So you have 4 teams battling basically for 3 spots to make the playoffs. So things haven't been decided yet. Who will be 2, who will be 3, and who will be 4. Let's take it up to 5A Region 1. This region is pretty self-explanatory, pretty much already set. Your number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 seeds, these guys are already set for the playoffs. UMS Wright, St. Paul's Faith Academy, and BC Rain, Corey, the Red Raiders, back in the playoffs once again.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be impressed with what head coach Lawrence Yeldon has been able to do with these young BC Rain Red Raiders. And they played Faith Academy last night, and Faith Academy took the win at Theodore as that game was played at Theodore. But again, UMS Wright, to me, surprisingly, after losing the opening game to Baker, has not lost since.
Has not. Let's take it up to 6A Region 1, where Saraland is pretty much kind of on top of things. They had the big win over Spanish Fort a couple weeks ago. And tonight, the number 2 seed is going to come down to Spanish Fort and McGill-Tulane. They're playing each other tonight, so whoever wins that ball game will be picking up that number 2 seed in 6A Region 1. Baldwin County looking like they're going to be possibly getting into the playoffs this year as well. Gulf Shores and Blunt, very disappointing year for the Leopards. Corey, 2-4. They've had some struggles this season under interim coach there, Detrick Sumter, as well. So 6A Region 1 kind of shapes up that way. And lastly, 7A Region 1, that's the region we're in tonight. As we told you coming in here, Fairhope pretty much on top of things. Theodore as well. They're playing Foley down in Theodore. We'll have to check back in with Mike Herndon later on. But, Corey, as you see right there in the middle, Daphne and Baker pretty much kind of sitting there as to who's going to be the number 3 seed. This is Daphne's last region game. They play Spanish Fort next week.
Absolutely. Theodore all over Foley tonight, 30-0 at halftime is that score. So you're talking about the Pirates with that huge win over the Theodore Bobcats a couple of weeks ago, put them in the driver's seat. But this game right here is exactly what we expected it to be, a very close and competitive matchup to see who goes ahead and claims that 3 seed in 7A Region 1.
Speaking of Theodore and Foley, let's take it down and check in with Mike Herndon. He's down there at CA Douglas Field. How are we looking down there, Mike?
Well, we're at halftime here at CA Douglas Field, and Theodore is pulled away with 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, 30-0 lead at halftime. We had a 7-yard touchdown run by Braden Jenkins. We had a 70-yard catch and run by Raheem Quinney on a short pass from Demetrius Pogue, and then just before halftime, with about 20 seconds to play, Demetrius Pogue threw a 40-yard touchdown pass to Cameron Johnson to push them to a 30-0 lead. Comfortable here going into halftime. This is a big game for Theodore because if they win this game tonight, they'll clinch a home field playoff game at 7A Region 1.
Mike, we'll check back with you later on. You're right about that. A win by Theodore tonight pretty much locks down the number 2 seed. We're going to take a break and come back and bring you more halftime homecoming here at Clem Richardson Stadium. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
Together we've got this.
Together we've got this. Together we've got this.
Part of the experience of going to the Mobile Museum of Art is that it's there for everyone.
Art is there to inspire, to give you other perspectives, and to make you think outside of yourself.
The museum offers a critical service to the culture of the community.
It's providing the opportunity to have eyes open.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
Homecoming activity still taking place here inside of the Hornets' Nest on the campus of Baker High School. While that's taking place, we'll get up some of those playoff scenarios we were telling you about before the broadcast started off. Right here in 7A Region 1, it's pretty simple. Fairhope pretty much probably going to be clinching that number 1 seed. Corey, as Mike Herndon just said, Theodore on top of Foley tonight. If they get that win, they'll be number 2. But most importantly, they'll get a home playoff game as 1 and 2 will get the host. And right there where we are tonight, it is Daphne and Baker. Pretty much with the win tonight, Baker's going to get into the playoffs. As Daphne, if they would lose, they would be 5-3, would probably still be in as a number 4 seed.
Yeah, I mean, when you start looking at what the scenarios are and how you try to control your own destiny, I guarantee that's what head coach of the Baker Hornets, Steve Norman, is talking about with his guys at halftime. Just, hey, we are going to pocket those timeouts in the second half.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to find a way offensively to get into some type of rhythm and put together a string of first downs versus having a 3-and-out or maybe going only 5 plays and then having to punt. So the Daphne Trojans, on the other hand, are saying, okay, guys, we were down 7-0. We've been our own worst enemy. The only 7 points that we've given up was because of a turnover that got them deep inside of our own territory. So we'll see the strategies that are going to go ahead and unfold here in the second half.
Yeah, 6A Region 1, as we told you, Saraland pretty much has clinched. They are in the playoffs. And the battle for the 2 and the 3 seed is going on tonight with McGill, Tulane, and Spanish Fort. And the Baldwin County Tigers back in the playoffs. Score a couple years ago, they had a winning record and didn't make the playoffs. Unfortunately, all the teams they lost to were region games and kept them out of the playoffs.
Absolutely, and that's what it takes. You look at Saraland all over Central L tonight, and McGill, Tulane, at Spanish Fort. Spanish Fort is winning at this point in time, and Baldwin County has done a wonderful job. And again, a double duty job being pulled by head coach Steve Norman tonight, and you have to be very happy for him.
Sure is.
In regards to his daughter.
His daughter been named homecoming queen right there, as a matter of fact. So I know the Norman family is quite excited, and to get a win to go with this homecoming win would be really huge for the Baker family, as Bella Norman named your homecoming queen here for 2021 here on the Baker campus. Get back to the playoff scenarios right here as we're setting it up. 5A Region 1. Pretty simple with this one. UMS Wright number 1, St. Paul's number 2, Faith Academy and BC Rain gets into the playoffs as the number 4 seed. And then you have 4A Region 1. It kind of gets a little convoluted with this one because Viger has clinched. They're the champions. But tonight you have Williamson and Mobile Christian, and there's some chaos scenarios with Jackson and St. Michael, where St. Michael could be Viger and Williamson would lose, and then you get the tiebreakers, and then we have to call Ben Thomas, and it's all convoluted at that point, Corey.
Absolutely. I mean, you're in a situation where congratulations to Coach McKenzie in his second year as head football coach of the Viger Wolves, becoming 4A Region 1 champions. And you're talking about Mobile Christian, who was defeated by the Williamson Lions 1 year ago. And the Williamson Lions are the defending 4A Region 1 champions. So, you know, Jackson and St. Michael are going to have a lot to say about that. And St. Michael and Viger are playing one another right now. And if you're Williamson or Mobile Christian, you are friends of St. Michael. Because
that is right.
You're like, okay, how do we control our own destiny? And that's by playing between the lines tonight.
All right, we're going to come back and give you the second half of the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Don't move, it's headed your way. Got to thank our folks at Bishop State for sponsoring the game.
Hello, I'm Renee Phillips, your host of Homeroom. Will you join us as we talk with the students, teachers, and staff about all of the great things happening in our schools?
That's right, Renee. Not only are we here to keep you informed about the great things happening in our schools, but to also keep you updated on safety issues.
Our show, Safe Schools, looks at ways to keep your child and our students safe.
Not only are we looking at ways to keep your child and our students safe, but to keep you informed on how to connect with us.
Manténgase informado aquí en Conexión a Padres.
And we also score big from pre-K to high school with MCPSS Athletics.
And then Inside Education puts it all together for you, showing you the ins and outs about news and events taking place across the Mobile County Public School District. We do this to keep you informed.
Hello, I'm Katrina Frazier.
And I'm Deborah Robinson, and we would like to be your next realtors. As homeowners, we know how confusing it can be searching to find that perfect home that fits your needs and budget.
For that reason, it's important to have a reliable partner to represent you and to be there for every step of your home buying process. You'll find the services offered through Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Cooper & Company Realtors are second to none.
So whether you are buying or selling your home, call us today and let our experience work for you.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
Welcome back to the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. A few moments out from getting the second half started. While we got a break, let's take a look at the Alabama Sports Writers Association Top 10 polls. We can start with 4A poll as we get that one up. Take a look at it. Across the state here, Viger still sits there at number 2. Matter of fact, they're up 1 spot from last week from 3 to number 2. Jackson up 1 spot to 9 from 10. And we'll take a break right now. Kimberly Dunn's on the sideline with Daphne head coach Kenny King. What's going on, Kimberly?
Coach, before the game, we talked about that you needed to avoid penalties and turnovers, and unfortunately we had those in the first half. So what adjustments are y'all making to avoid those this second half?
Again, just to continue talking about it, making sure, of course, that tip ball it happens, but the fumble when we was going in this last drive, we can't have those. So again, eliminate the mistakes, and hopefully we can get out of here with a win.
Yeah. So what does your team need to do to secure this win tonight?
Again, just continue working, do what we do. I think the guys doing a great job of executing up to a point. We just got to finish. That's the biggest word that we went in at halftime and say, let's make sure we finish the game. We had several drives we came down, could have scored, but we didn't finish. So, again, we're going to make sure we finish.
All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. We'll take it back to the Alabama Sports Writers Association Top 10 polls. Let's take it up to 5A UMS right there, still at number 7. Number 1 team still Pike Road and Pleasant Grove, as you can see right there. The top 7, top 8 all remain the same. Matter of fact, that entire poll is the same from last week. And you have St. Paul's just on the outside looking in with 6 votes. And we can take it up to the 6A poll right now. Spanish Fort coming in at number 5, sitting solid. And this poll pretty much looking about the same until Saraland. They move up 1 spot from 8 to 7. On the outside looking in, McGill-Tulane picking up 1 vote. And they're playing Spanish Fort tonight, Corey, but still surprisingly Saraland below Spanish Fort this late in the season, as they did defeat them, and they are going to be the region champs. So that's still a surprise right there.
Well, when you start talking about Saraland losing those 2 early games, and it was the quality competition, Jeff Kelly has not looked back.
No,
and Spanish Fort, again, continues to roll. And we always see them the last couple of years in the state championship game. If it's not Saraland, it's been Spanish Fort. So great representation coming out of 6A Region 1.
And there it is. Lastly, the 7A poll, Fairhope sits at number 6. Theodore goes up 1 spot from 8 to 7. And Thompson and Hoover, Central Phoenix City, and Auburn and James Clemens all the same from last week. Baker and Daphne both on the outside looking in. Daphne with 6 votes and Baker with 1. So there's your 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A state polls brought to you by the Alabama Sports Writers Association. Baker's going to receive the second half kickoff. Coach Kenny King talked about they have to finish. They got to finish drives. Great time of possession for the Trojans in the first half, but he's right, finishing. And Corey, I'm with you. As you said before we went to halftime, I thought we would have had a more explosive ball game tonight.
Absolutely. When you start talking about mirror images offensively, one team coming in averaging 31.9, the Trojans, and the Hornets coming in averaging 32. So here it is. We're going to start the second half of action with the touchback, and we'll see what the Hornets can do from their own 20-yard line.
KJ Beckham lets that one go into the end zone, and the offense will come out on the field. 2 quarters remaining to see who's going to pick up the number 3 seed in 7A Region 1. Al Weed and Corley Bounty on the sidelines. Kimberly Dunn, statisticians, China Powell, and Matt Moore bringing you the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. 7A Region 1 contest. Jamari Hawkins going into the backfield next to Flowers. They fake it to him, try to get the screen set up, and Flowers is sacked and brought down by the Trojans for a big loss.
Nice way to start the second half of action for the Trojans, and that's a big-time sack when you start talking about starting down in distance. Cameron Long, the 5'8", 160-pound junior, on the stop for the Daphne Trojans.
Pushes the Hornets back 10 yards. 2nd and 20 yards to go in the hole early in the third quarter. Sawyer Colvin still in at center. So Peyton White has not returned. And Josh Flowers just run up into several Trojans there as he has pushed back his forward progress. Going to be stopped around the 5-yard line, Corey.
And we saw that moments ago before we ended the second quarter of action, how that pocket just collapses on Flowers as he's trying to keep his eyes down the field and find a receiver coming back to the football, but doesn't have anybody to check down to. And the wide receivers are running long routes, and by the time they come down back to the football, the pocket has already collapsed. So now we're looking at 3rd down and West Mobile to go.
Yeah, 3rd and 25. You definitely want to get some positive yards here. They're going deep to Javen Williams. Some little pushing between the defender and the receiver. No flags come out. Incomplete. I believe it was 2 or 3 Trojans all around Williams. So that's going to put Calvin Irby in the end zone to punt this one away. Execution is the highest right now, as you don't want a low snap or anything to go behind you or possibly cause a touchdown or anything, Corey.
We've seen that happen before, to where a quarterback, or excuse me, a kicker has taken a knee because of a low snap.
That's
and
right.
It's either been down at the spot. Here, down at the spot would be a safety for the Trojans, so it's going to be critical here to put toe to leather.
That ball is blocked into the end zone. Not a safety, but signaled
touchdown
as a touchdown. Baker was trying to get on top of it to get the safety, but they could not have it. We can get that replay, see what that young man came around on the edge. It looked like it was number 22.
Right winger came from it. You look at the top side of the screen, he's going to come untouched, and 29. It's 29. That's going to be a Marion Williams, the 6 foot, 165-pound junior. Just like that, has changed the dynamics of the game. And you mentioned it, Al, moments before it happened, that special teams can be critical, especially when you're backed up deep in your own end zone. You want to make sure you put a hat to hat, and that did not happen at that point in time. And because of it, again, to me, that's points off of a turnover, really, a turnover on downs, because it's a block special teams play, a big special teams play by the Trojans. And we'll see what happens here as the point after is good.
Extra point is good by Baylor Beard. He's 24 for 24.
Boom, there's the block right there. And the ball bounces around. The Hornets jump on top of it first, and it squirts out from Flowers. And because of it, the Trojans are able to pounce on it and score 6 points and make the extra point.
Gary Byers couldn't jump on top of that ball to get the safety and save that 6 points. Got a break right here. Let's take a look at the coaches comparison between these two coaches here coming into this contest. Kenny King in his 6th year over at Daphne, 42-21 overall, has a .666 winning percentage. Graduate of Daphne in Alabama, also played professional football. See his favorite show right there. And Steve Norman in his 3rd year here at Baker, 15-13 overall, has a .558 winning percentage. His favorite TV show, I like it, the original Batman, the 1969 version. But one thing about Kenny King stood out, Corey, as I read the comparisons, and he said he started coaching because he wanted to give back to the young athletes. When he was in the NFL, he had a chance to coach the 5th and 6th grade Pee Wee team out there in Arizona. Said he absolutely loved it. So when he retired, he said, I want to get back into coaching, get into it for real. So I like that.
And has that passion on the sidelines. And he got that passion for football from his dad.
Right.
And, kudos to Coach King from learning from his dad and just giving so much of what he learned about football and his drive, not only to his dad, but his mom, when he was ready to quit, saying, hey, I'm going to turn it back over to your dad, not allowing him to do so. But Coach Kenny King's a fine young fella that I enjoyed watching playing at the University of Alabama and as well as in the NFL.
We've had a block punt here to start off the 3rd quarter. Getting excited early here. Daphne extending the lead 17-7 as Hawkins is brought down. Going to pick up about 2 or 3 on that play. It'll be 2nd down. Let's see what a market, maybe about no gain on the play. So 2nd and 10. Hawkins did not pick up anything.
But what you have to keep an eye on is that field goal that was huge right before the half ended, because instead of being a one-score game, now you're in a two-possession game, to where the Hornets started off not the way they wanted to of the third quarter, but have an opportunity to remedy that right here on this offensive drive.
Hawkins goes into motion, almost picked off by James Quinterly. Corey, he would have definitely taken that one. That would have been a house call for real.
Quinterly is 6'4", and that wingspan showed in that situation as he read that, and he wasn't able to put his paws and squeeze that pigskin, or it would have been a pick six. But now you start talking about the Baker Hornets deep in their own territory again, right at the 20-yard line, 3rd down and 10 yards to go. And you really want to find a way to get Javen Williams the football. Also, your explosive running back, Roderick Taylor or Zion Davis, need to find a way to control the pigskin as well.
Flowers flushed out of the pocket, and his jersey is grabbed by nose guard Tyler Durant. He cannot get that ball. Corey, I'm surprised tonight. We've only seen Flowers run the ball maybe, once or twice? They've been doing a lot of passing tonight, and Baker, for some reason, can't get that offense going.
That's the biggest thing. You started possession of the third quarter with the football, and on the first play, you get sacked, which creates negative down and distance situations. And when we go back here and revisit my checklist, we'll be able to see the importance of trying to get a home hive advantage and giving these Hornet hooligans something to cheer about here in the second half.
This snap is good for Irby. Gets his foot into that one. Cam Long going to take it on the bounce at the 44. And goes past the midfield stripe. A flag comes in. Let's revisit that checklist for you, Corey.
Absolutely. Daphne making speed bumps out of Baker's offense. That's exactly what they've been able to do. An offense that averages over 31 points per game. They've held them to 7 so far. Don't play young and restless. Well, after that first turnover by the quarterback in the first quarter, they have not shown their youth on this football field tonight and have explosive plays. They haven't really had explosive plays, but they've been able to control the clock and been explosive in regards to time of possession.
Sure have.
Baker, on the other hand, needed to protect the pigskin. We've seen them turn the football over that led to points off turnovers. They needed to control down the distance, something they have not been able to do this entire contest so far. And again, I said the Hornet hooligans and the rest of this homecoming crowd here at Clem Richardson Stadium need to have something to be excited about. Some type of juice needs to be shown on the sidelines. A big spark defensively or a big explosive play offensively will help the crowd get back into the game.
Yeah, the Hive has been quiet tonight. This young man has not been quiet. Ty Bradley, as he gets that one into Hornets territory. Daphne was penalized after that return, but Bradley's going to get that ball to the 45-yard line of Baker.
And that's just smart, not wanting to take that extra hit. And it's going to be a timeout called by the officials, as on the far sidelines we do have an injured player.
Baker player maybe cramps as the trainers immediately getting those legs lifted up. But Corey, you're right. The domination of time that Daphne has shown tonight has been huge in this ball game. And also, speaking of huge, got to think a big, huge thanks to Firehouse Subs for what they're doing for us all season. Jim and Susie Sherman over at the Greenlight Road location taking care of us and the crew, and so you need to take care of them. Stop by and visit Firehouse Subs at their Greenlight Road location. Also, Bsn Sports, if you need team apparel, whatever the sport, they have you covered. All sports they can do for you at Bsn Sports. The heart of the game, visit them online at bsnsports.com. Coming off the field, Antonio Williams, Mike linebacker. So we have to come out of play. First and 10 for Daphne on the Baker 45. Bradley with the carry. That offensive line has been opening up holes for him all night long. That's close to another first down for the Trojans.
The Trojans' offensive line has controlled the line of scrimmage, and therefore they've controlled time of possession as well. So this Baker defense just needs to find a way to try to get this Trojan offense off the field and giving their defense an opportunity to rest is what the offensive shot is needed by the Hornets also.
Back to Bradley again. Boy, he hits the A gap and accelerates, Corey. Goes past the 30-yard line. Another Daphne first down.
Both of these backs for the Trojans are downhill runners. They are not trying to dance around in the hole. They're running north and south and trying to run over you in this situation. But again, the longer the Hornets defense stays on the field, the tougher it becomes.
Scores trickling in right there on the Mcpss scoreboard ticker. And Nick Clark, he goes to the 25, actually to the 20. Picks up about 8 or 9 yards on that carry. And Daphne continuing to run it and run it and run it some more.
So Baker having those 3 timeouts remaining, if you want to resettle your guys, you probably want to save those timeouts for the fourth quarter, but you're hoping your defense can just find a way to get a stop.
Back to Clark once again as he approaches the 5, stretches it out. That's a touchdown by Nick Clark. Looks to be about 18 or 19 yards. I'm sorry, about 21 or 22 yards as Daphne has extended their lead 23-7 right now on top of Baker.
Clark with over 475 yards rushing on the season. The 5'6", 195-pound sophomore finds a way to pay dirt, and that's one of those explosive plays that the Trojans have wanted to hit. We saw a couple of runs early in the first half to where Bradley was running the football and fumbled it away.
Right.
Now you have Clark securing the pigskin and scoring 6.
Beard on for the extra point, up and good. Here's a replay right there. Looks like about 22-yard run for Clark, and look at him stretch it out, Corey. The big fella punches it into the end zone. That's his second rushing touchdown of the ball game tonight.
10 on the season for this young man, and that's pretty impressive when you start talking about the Trojans now leading 24-7 on this scoreboard, trying to ruin Baker's 2021 homecoming.
Yeah, let's put up the Daphne schedule here as the season. They started off the year, actually, their first game was not a bye, it was canceled. A player from Robert E. Lee up in Montgomery collapsed after practice and died, so they canceled that game. They won against Davis and lost against Fairhope, and Theodore took those 2 early region losses, Corey. And if you notice, all of their ball games are region ball games. They don't play out of region until next week against Spanish Fort.
And that's the Battle of the Eastern Shore, and that's something that you normally don't see throughout the season, to where you can go 7 weeks in and all your games be region contests. But that Spanish Fort Daphne game next week is going to be a good one, as Daphne is trying to go ahead and buckle down defensively and keep Baker off of the scoreboard, because Baker has not scored since the first quarter of action. So far they've gone almost 2 quarters with a goose egg on the scoreboard.
There's the Baker schedule right there. Had that early win against UMS Wright, lost to Theodore, ran off a couple wins, and Corey coming in tonight on a 2-game losing streak at Pine Forest and at Fairhope. And right now they're losing in the first down battle. Statistician Matt Moore told me Daphne has 12 first down to Baker's 3 first downs for the entire ball game. So as you were talking about, you can't get consistent. You're getting these 3 and outs, you're getting turnovers. You're not going to be able to capitalize if you continue like that.
Yeah, that's what's going to be important right here for Baker. This is the most important drive of the game for the Baker Hornets. They have to come up with a series of first downs as the Trojans continue to jump on their horse and ride this offensive line back, as Baker's not able to gain any positive traction on first down.
Offensive coordinator Chase Calcagnan may have to dig deep into that playbook, because Daphne is reading that handoff to Hawkins right here very well, pushing him back. Now they're going to push Hawkins down and spread him out wide. Empty set here for the Hornets. Hawkins goes into motion. Flower steps up into the pocket, decides to keep it, uses those legs, Corey, something I talked about on the previous series. Baker not running Flowers too much, but right there, He took the horse by the reins and took it up to the 41, 42-yard line.
You have to take what the defense gives you, and over the last couple of series, you know, Flowers wanted to show his arm strength, but again, show your leg strength as well. As I mentioned, that he gets it from first to second gear very quickly as regards to getting past the line of scrimmage, and he creates the first down for Baker in almost 2 possessions.
Flowers steps up again, trying to connect with Hawkins. Hawkins brings it in, stretches to the 30-yard line. A nice pass. Nice pass on Flowers to Hawkins. There's that scoring drive right there for Daphne. 58 yards. Took off 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Wrapped up by a 21-yard touchdown by Nick Clark. And Baker trying to answer right now. They need to, Corey. You're right. Probably the biggest drive they have. Down 3 scores to Daphne.
And it's important that Baker goes ahead and not force the football right here, but take what this defense gives you, as you're looking at defensive coordinator Atlas Heron for the Trojans in this 3-4 defense. Flowers is really going to have to take control, and if it means him taking control with his feet the way he just did, go ahead and do so.
Do what you have to do right there. Picks up about 4 or 5 on that carry. Didn't hand it off to Hawkins. So the RPO went to Flowers as he took it right up the middle. Ball spotting at the 25-yard line. Baker 5 yards away from getting into the red zone, but they want to get into the end zone as we are under 6 minutes here in the third quarter. Don't forget, we'll have the Game of the Week Brainbuster question coming up soon. Put that one out there, see if Mr. LeBounty can get the question answered correctly. 2nd and 5 for the Hornets. They're just going to run it to the left side here into the red zone. It's first down for Baker.
Great job by the offensive line getting pushed, and that's probably the best push that they've gotten since the first drive of the game. Garrett Childress with the stop for the Daphne Trojans, but when you start talking about getting in the red zone area, trailing 24-7, it's going to be very important that Baker does get some type of points on this drive.
Yeah, this is a must drive that you have to get some points off of right here. 1st and 10 for the Hornets. Ball about 17-yard line. Flowers flushed out to the pocket, trying to connect with KJ Beckham. Hands to the left, hands to the right. 2 flags come in, Corey.
That's an easy pass interference call on the Daphne Trojans, and you just try to put it up in your playmaker's hands and want him to go get the football. But after we get this official call, it will cost the Trojans some yardage, as deeper into the red zone now the Hornets will go.
Ball was sitting at the 17, so this one against Daphne will probably push him maybe half the distance to the goal, if that. There's the PI call, so that's going to push that ball. Let's take a look at a replay here.
But look at the arm strength. I mean, Flowers is falling back off of his right leg and throws that some 25 to 30 yards as he's falling backwards. And I think the biggest thing for this Baker Hornet drive has been, like you mentioned it, Josh Flowers been able to run the football successfully and pick up a couple of first downs for the Baker Hornet offense.
1st and goal, ball on the 8-yard line. Flowers wears the number 8. Let's see if he calls his own number here. Throws it to the receiver, Javen Williams. That is a touchdown for the Baker Hornets.
Great job by Williams extending himself and making that touchdown catch. As you're talking about Flowers, now go ahead and making his 15th touchdown pass of the season. And Javen Williams has his 6th receiving touchdown of the season. And now you had a much big score by the Baker Hornets. 4:37 remaining now, point after pending. But again, that's a huge drive by the Baker Hornets.
Hunter Kilgore on for the extra point. It is up and good. We'll take a break and come back. Meet you on the other side. You're watching MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
It was just like an extension of home.
Bishop give you that outlet to give you a career, a successful career.
We're doing some great things at Bishop State. Keep an eye on us.
Don't forget to mark your calendars. Veterans Day is coming up November 11th. All schools and offices will be closed, so mark your calendar as we observe Veterans Day on November 11th. Corey, as we look back at that replay, I was complimenting Williams on, man, how he did not drop it or get the knee down, and you were like, well, I don't know. I thought it was clean myself, Corey, for him to get it into the end zone.
Well, the biggest thing is that the referees thought it was a good score, and I don't know. I know he stretched out. When he stretched out and was coming down, did he lose control of the football? That's going to be the thing that we're going to take a look at on this replay coming up after the kickoff.
And there is no instant replay here at Baker this season. We had some instances during the Theodore ball game where I'm sure Coach Norman was shooting himself in the foot, but they didn't purchase it. Nice run here for the Trojans. Stephon Blackshear. Let's take a look at that replay once again, Corey. Let's dig in deep here and take a peek.
We're going to have an end zone cam that's going to get a great shot of it right down the line, and he did have control of the football when it crossed. He had control of the football right here, and it crossed the plane, so that's the biggest thing. Now, when he hit the ground with it, he had control of it when it did cross the plane. So, to me, that's a touchdown. That's a great look right there. He's clearly crosses the plane. Great camera angle and great job by the truck running back that replay.
Yeah, I mean, Richard Beatty on the shot right there. Daphne penalized once again on kickoff, Corey. Great return by Blackshear, but all for naught, back to the 20-yard line.
And here's the opportunity to get the Hornet hooligans involved and to make this homecoming special, because the fans that are sitting here at Clem Richardson Stadium want to have something to cheer about here going home for homecoming 2021.
They sure do. They've cut the lead to 10. Ty Bradley on the carry right there picks up maybe one. I was just told, Corey, on his rushing tonight, he's averaging about 8 yards a rush.
They are running so
they
hard.
Sure are.
And credit to the offensive line getting after it, but here it is now, the defense. Let's see if they get any juice from that offensive score.
Correct.
As you can start hearing the cowboy bells come out and people starting to stomp their feet for the Hornet faithful.
But most importantly, that offense, that drive, as Flowers started to run the ball for the Hornets, allowed that defense to get the rest. That pass overthrown to Blackshear. It's going to take Daphne to 3rd and long, and the Hornets defense trying to make a stand right here to get a 3 and out.
And it's been quite a while since we've seen the Trojans in 3rd down and long.
You're right.
Because they have absolutely tried to milk the clock by running the football with their big backs. But here's a situation now to where we talked about a must score on offense by the Baker Hornets. Here's a must stop on defense right here at 3rd down and 9 yards to go.
Bradley in the backfield with KJ Lacey, freshman quarterback. Play clock under 10. Lacey takes the snap. They set up the screen for Bradley. The Hornets collapse on him, and they're going to get that stop. So 3 and out for Daphne.
And the Trojans coaching staff on the far sidelines are irate about something. And there's going to be an injured player on the far sidelines for the Trojans. And I'm not quite sure if they wanted a block. I'm not quite sure what happened on that far sidelines because I couldn't see it, but there's definitely a Trojan down on the far sidelines.
Left tackle Ashton Donald. I don't know if we can get that replay up and take a look. But the entire coaching staff quite upset. Donald holding his right knee right there. He's left tackle, so he's on that far end of the line. So he goes out to start blocking. Pushes his man out of bounds. And looks like there was some extracurricular activity going on by 2 players far away from the play, but no flag was thrown, Corey. But Donald's still down. He is technically out of bounds. He's not in the field of play. He's back up now, gingerly walking. There he is.
Glad to see that young fella be able to get up, and want him to be able to put some weight 6'2", 310-pound senior, a big key of this offensive line.
Only the second punt for Daphne tonight, and it is a fake. Baylor Beard is running. Line to make will be the 29, and Clorahee is going to be close. I think he has it, but we have 2 flags, 3 flags. Things are getting a little chippy here tonight inside of the Hornets' nest, but based on the run, Baylor Beard may have picked up this first down.
And I'll tell you, the penalty flags match the color of Daphne's helmets as Daphne comes in with the alternative helmets.
Different look. I like it tonight, too. Different look.
Only the second time they've wore these helmets on the season, but now the officials have the hard job of trying to decide whether it was offsetting penalties and who it's going to be against, because both players got up pushing and shoving one another. So we'll see what guilty party is called.
There's the block in the back against Daphne. Personal foul, offset. We're going to get a do-over, Corey, as I'm playing golf. My buddy Matt Moore will get a mulligan.
But at the same time, now that allows.
Look at Beard running. Look at him, Corey, doing his Forrest Gump there.
That allows you to go ahead and negate a fake. So you take away a trick play here. Yep. You're not going to run back-to-back fakes. You're going to have to punt this football away. So I know Kenny King is not going to be happy with the fact that his special teams play goes awry, and there's a lot of motion now by the Trojans.
And Kenny King is the special teams coach, so that was all his call as Baylor Beard runs it out, punts it rugby style. Javen Williams going to fair catch that one at the 41. Last week, Baker was in a similar situation, Corey, in the third quarter. Coach Steve Norman decided to fake a punt around the 30-35. They did not get it executed, and that game kind of flipped. And look how this one is flipped tonight as Daphne goes for it deep in their own territory.
Well, you want Uncle Mo to arrive here in the Hive if you're a Baker Hornet fan, because you just came off of a huge score by your offense. Your defense comes away with an even more impressive stop, and a much-needed stop that they have to have. Joshua Flowers on that last possession was able to run the football successfully.
1st and 10 coming up here for the Hornets on their own 41, down 10 points. Less than 3 minutes remaining. Flowers taking the ball on his own, gets up to the 49, Corey. I think he may have been listening to us up here talking atop the press box.
Well, when you don't put a spy on him and you go ahead and you're making sure that the wide receivers aren't the ones who beat you, you have to take what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
And that's what Flowers has started to do on that last drive, and it's a continuation here on this drive to where now the Trojans are going to have to change their strategy defensively to where those matchups from the wide receiver standpoint will start opening up for the Baker Hornets.
Flowers telling his receivers that double stack set, get out wider, get out wider. He has plenty of time, unloads it, and finds Jamari Hawkins in Trojans territory at about the 25 or 26-yard line of Daphne. That's a huge first down.
Flowers had all the time in the world. You're talking about 8 or 9 seconds to where he allowed Hawkins to come back off his route back to the football, and that's huge. Flowers could have run that football as well,
could
but
have
gained a lot more yardage by completing that football pass to Hawkins.
Ball's placed at the 28-yard line. Baker trying to put together another scoring drive here. Flowers decides to keep it. We've seen that formation before where they dumped a little shovel pass to Hawkins. Instead, he keeps it this time, picks up about 6 or 7 on that carry.
And that was a good job by Jamari Evans. Go ahead and making sure he came from his linebacker position and making the stop for Daphne. But second down and 5 yards to go now for Baker as they are trying to enter the red zone area of the Daphne Trojans.
1:35 and the clock ticking here. 2nd and 4 coming up for Baker. Hawkins back in the backfield. They hand it off to him. He's got the guards pulling for him as he goes into the red zone. Still keeps those feet moving almost to the 10-yard line. maybe the 9. Nice run by Jamari Hawkins.
Johnny Purdue, the 6'6", 295-pound junior defensive end on the stop. But now the Hornets are in the red zone area. And look at the big fellas pull. And look at the sweet feet by Hawkins as he's able to get down to close to the 8-yard line.
Late flag came in, Corey, after the play. May have been some extracurricular activities by one of the Trojans. They're pointing that way.
And you just have to keep your composure if you're both of these teams and stay away from personal fouls and the chippiness, because you don't want to hurt your team now. Because, again, momentum has showed up here for the Baker Hornets. Now inside this red zone area with 3 timeouts remaining, 1:17 to go here in the third quarter of action.
Ball just a hair inside of the 5-yard line, so we'll call it first and goal from the 5. They give it off to the back, Rod Taylor, and Taylor punches it in. Baker has scored on back-to-back drives, Corey, and the hooligans are going wild.
And I think that's Roderick Taylor's first rushing touchdown of the season. And just like that, you look at a great, just straight ahead running, tough 5 yards. And I talked about having some juice and some energy from this Baker Hornet sideline and the Hornet hooligan crowd. And just like that, 14 unanswered if they're able to make this extra point to make this game 17-24 if this extra point, 21-24 if this extra point goes.
Hunter Kilgore's kick is up, and it is good. Baker has cut it to 3. Boy, it is really getting good now. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Our children with special needs deserve a place to play. That is why we are coming together to build the Miracle League of West Mobile Schmidt Family Park. It will include a special needs ball field and playground, regulation baseball and softball fields, and more. We have raised more than $1 million and construction will start soon, but we need your help to complete the project. Visit mcpss.com/Miracle League to donate and to learn more. Any dollar amount will help bring a smile to a child's face. Together, we can make a miracle.
You asked for it, and you got it, Corey. We wanted the action, and boy, have they delivered. Baker with back-to-back scores after Daphne came out, blocked a punt, picked up a quick 6, and then turned around and ran one into the end zone. The third quarter has truly exploded here at Clem Richardson Stadium.
And that's what you want. I mean, you expected a great 7A Region 1 matchup. And when you started looking at the scoreboard moments ago being 24-7 and things not going well to start the third quarter for the Baker Hornets, all it took was 1 or 2 Josh Flowers plays and first downs to get this crowd excited.
I was just about to say it, Corey. Didn't want to interrupt you. I think Steve Norman was going to go to try to steal the possession right there. But Daphne, Johnny on the spot to pick up that onside kick. Kendall Brothers jumps on top of it. And Daphne's going to have some great field position. Nothing wrong with that, trying to steal a possession with 2 scores back-to-back. Gave your defense some time to rest. So they're going to rest this ball right here on the 48-yard line of Daphne as the Hornets roll the dice with 63 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Don't forget your Game of the Week Brain Buster question is going to be coming up just around the corner. Trojans go back to the Wildcat. Direct snap to Nick Clark. That has done well for them tonight. And boy, look at Clark move those feet as he crosses the midfield stripe for a 4-yard pickup. 2nd and 6 coming up. There's a scoring drive right there. That drive was 59 yards, only 5 plays, but 2 of those plays huge by Flowers on his feet, and one when he threw that pass to Jamari Hawkins for about 20 yards. He only burned off 1 minute and 51 seconds.
And now if you're the Trojans, you want to go ahead and string together some nice runs and burn some more time off the clock the way you were able to in the first half of action.
And you do that by giving it to Tyler Bradley just like that. That man is a first down machine for the Trojans as he picks up another one. Ball on the 41-yard line of Baker as we are under 20 seconds here remaining in the third quarter. Daphne technically does not have to snap it, but looks like they will. Back to Bradley they go. That was a huge tackle by the Hornets right there as we draw to the end of the third quarter with Daphne on top 24-21. All right, well, we got a break here. Let's go and put up the Game of the Week Brain Buster right quick, Corey. See what our question is this week. Baker has a playoff record of 1-8. What team did they defeat in the playoffs? Which would be their only playoff victory, Corey. So think about that. We'll give you the answer later on inside of the fourth quarter as your Game of the Week Brain Buster. Matter of fact, we have an injury update. We can check in with Kimberly Dunn, see what she has to share with us about an injured player. Take it down to the field and check in with her. What's going on, Kimberly?
I was able to go check with number 74 for the Daphne Trojans, and it was actually a pre-existing ankle injury that he just re-pulled, and so they were wrapping him up again, and he said he's ready to get back on the field for the rest of this game, so we will be seeing more of him. But while I was over there, I also noticed the atmosphere of the crowd over there. They are irate. They are so angry and mad at some of the calls and plays that are being made on the field, and they're ready to get that winning momentum back and come away with the win tonight.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. We're able to get the scoring summary up through the ball game here, Cora. We'll see some big numbers finally being produced by both of these teams. A very explosive third quarter we had.
And that's what you want to see here. If you're the Baker Hornets, you go ahead and you get your crowd involved. J.C. Todd dialing up the correct defenses to try to go ahead and get a stop.
KJ Lacey completes that pass right to the 30-yard line. Gets it to his receiver, Thaddeus Willoughby, out of his tight end position. Our first time calling Willoughby's name tonight. And the chains will move. Let's check in right quick with Mike Herndon down there at C.A. Douglas Field in Theodore. What's going on with your ball game, Mike?
Well, Theodore's picked right up in the second half where they left off in the first, scored two more touchdowns to extend its lead. Foley has just, as we speak, scored to cut the lead to 44-6. Theodore got another touchdown pass from Demetrius Pogue to Raheem Quinney from about 42 yards, and then Cameron Rigby scored from about 45 yards out and pushed it to 44-0 before Foley just cut the lead here, 44-6 pending PAT.
All right, thank you, Mike. We do appreciate that, Corey. It looks like one half of the nuclear option may not be pulled tonight as Theodore is taking control of Foley.
Absolutely, and that's a big-time win for the Theodore Bobcats if they're able to go ahead and seal the deal. But what would be a big-time stop would be on second down and 10 yards to go for this Baker defense.
They hand it off to Nick Clark, who cuts it to the right. Boy, look at Clark go, Corey.
Trying to get yards after contact.
Yep, sure. And a lot of contact, but a lot of yards, about 6 or 7 on that play. It'll be third down coming up here for the Trojans.
I say third and about 4.5 yards to go.
Yeah, I think like a long 4, you're right.
If you're the Trojans here and offensive coordinator Zach Golson, you just have to go ahead and continue to give the football to your big bruising backs. And that being Bradley and Clark both. And you've tried to run and roll the pocket with your quarterback, KJ Lacey. And, you know, he's not shown to be and have to rush the football. But we'll see right here if they go into this Wildcat formation.
Looks like Daphne's trying to get Baker to jump.
It
was an empty set. And Nick Clark back there by himself. So a false start against Daphne. They couldn't get the line set, or maybe had some movement. Here's our scoring summary through the ball game, Corey. We talked about, look at there, 28 combined points, 2 touchdowns for both of these teams in the third quarter.
Well, when you start looking at what Daphne averages, 32, and the Baker Hornets on the other side averaging 32 as well. You talked about the mirror images in our pregame. That's exactly what we're on pace to see here before we end the game.
Same formation for the Trojans. It looks like they're trying to do some type of trick play, but the Trojans offensive linemen upset with themselves. Elijah Stevens and Jacob Galmich Another false start pushes them back 5 yards. They're going to have to bring on KJ Lacey. You're looking about 3rd and 15 or 16 right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3rd and 15 coming up, Corey.
And I mentioned about you have the home field advantage. The home hive advantage is what I called it. And now you're starting to hear and feel that as the crowd is starting to try to make a difference here on 3rd down and close to 15 yards to go.
Zach Golson gets the call in to Lacey. Empty set.
Timeout Trojans.
And I believe Coach Kenny King wants to talk about what is really going on as we have 9 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the contest. So Daphne's going to call a timeout. We'll go back to the brain buster question here, Corey, and see if you have an answer ready for us. All right, let's put it up there. Baker has a playoff record of 1-8. What team did they defeat in the playoffs?
I am not going to go Murphy. I'm not going to go Theodore. I'm not going to go Foley. I'm going to go with Viger.
With the Viger Wolves. So Corey, typically, if you don't know, Corey likes to go with C a lot because C stands for Corey. So let's reveal the answer and see who it is. It is Viger, correct, Corey. The only playoff victory Baker ever had, they defeated Viger 25-20 in 1984. Here's your +1. I haven't given you one in a long time. That was the first year they ever made the playoffs, 1984, and they picked up their first victory.
That's very impressive. But when you start talking about playoff droughts, almost 40 years before you have an opportunity to possibly win your first playoff game again.
Right.
And now Baker being one of the largest schools in the state of Alabama,
correct.
Jack French got them back into the playoffs.
Sure did.
But I'm looking forward to seeing where Steve Norman can take this team because we know they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a matter of where they're going to be.
Where they're going to fall, yeah.
And if they're going to have an opportunity to win a first-round game.
That's right.
And erase that 1984 graphic that just was on our screen.
Speaking of where we're going to be back here next Friday for Baker and Davidson for our last MCPSS ball game of the year. Lacey on the run, trying to pick it up all by himself, and he is met by KJ Beckham at the 25-yard line. He's going to be 5 yards short.
When you start talking about Beckham having an opportunity to have an interception, he just does a great job of making his 15th solo tackle on the season. And if he doesn't trip the quarterback up in the open field, that's going to be a first down. And now you're looking at a situation to where 4th down and 7 yards to go for the Trojans. They're going to go for it now.
And after that run by Lacey, and the play calling of Daphne, no surprise at all that they're going for it here. Too close to punt it, and I think they're probably going to call a timeout or take a delay of game. There's the timeout call right there by the offense coordinator, Zach Golson. He walks over to the official. So Daphne has used 2 timeouts here in the 4th quarter and on this same series. Let's thank Firehouse Subs for doing what they do for us every week. So make sure you enjoy more subs and save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. Head over to BSN Sports for all of your sports apparel when you need it. BSN Sports, they're the heart of the game. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. And lastly, Bishop State with 4 city campuses. They offer students a quality and affordable education. So visit bishop.edu to learn more. Bishop State, a great place to start.
And 1 week ago, we did have the interim president of Bishop State on our broadcast. So, again, Bishop State continued to do great things for the surrounding area.
I saw him at the volleyball match this past Wednesday. It was the Wildcats' last home volleyball match of the season, and he stopped by and I told him fine job he did. He said, was everything okay? I said, you did fine, Mr. President. Yeah, you did fine over there. So we appreciate Dr. Brandenburg for stopping by to chat with us last week. Big play right here coming up. 8:11 remaining in the contest. All the hooligans are on their feet. The stadium shaking below us, Corey, here at Clem Richardson Stadium. Baker's calling it 4th and 6. I'm with you. I think it's about 7 yards, actually, for KJ Lacey and the Trojans. Here we go. He guns it. And picking it up, Caleb Jones. Once again, Johnny on the spot. That's his second reception tonight. That was huge.
The biggest thing, though, is not only do you get the first down, you're inside the red zone territory, and now you have an opportunity with the fresh set of downs to go ahead and decide whether you want to go tempo, but the biggest thing is to try to strike here and stay ahead of schedule on first down.
Daphne up 3 as they give that ball to Ty Bradley. Gary Byers cannot believe he escaped from him. I think Byers saying, man, I should have used some stickum.
He did a wonderful job of shooting the gap and slowing the momentum of Bradley down, and because of it, he was not able to pick up positive yardage, except with the exception of one. So it would have been maybe a 6 or 7 yard gain had Byers not shot the gap there.
In the backfield, you got Bradley just to the left. Nick Clark, that 1-2 punch for Daphne, has been doing a lot of damage tonight. Throws it out to Clark. He's got a blocker. He's already stretched one in tonight for a touchdown. Just short, right inside of the 1 yard line. As Daphne trying to put up 6 here at 7:04 remaining in the contest, and it is really getting good.
It really is, but you're talking about a running back coming and slipping out of the backfield, just out of the outstretched arms of the Baker defender, and now you're looking at a first down and goal to go for the Trojans from the Hornets' 1 yard line. Quarterback KJ Lacey goes to the sidelines. That means they're going to bring in the big B for the Wildcat.
Right. Direct snap going to Bradley. He's going to follow behind Clark and goes right into the end zone for a 1 yard score. Ty Bradley extends that Daphne lead.
All that was finished because they were able to convert on 4th down. And if you're the Hornets, you have to find a way to get off the field.
You do.
And now with 6:58 remaining, the Trojans go from a 3-point lead to a 9-point lead with the point after pending that could push it to another 2-score game.
Beard's extra point is good as he stays perfect for the season. The lead is back to 10. Baker's down. They've got to mount a comeback. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by Bishop State.
Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm Terry, and we'd like to invite you to join us as we take a look at nature in ways that you've never seen before.
Come travel with us as we go coast to coast to uncover some of the most interesting animals.
And some of the most beautiful scenery that's offered outdoors.
You can join us on our nature adventures right here on the MCPSS TV network.
We welcome you back to the Hornets' Nest here on the campus of Baker High School. Daphne has extended their lead up 31-21. We are under 7 minutes to play, and it is crunch time for the Hornets, Corey.
Absolutely, but here's the thing for the Baker Hornets. They're going to have the opportunity here with Josh Flowers. They have scored 14 points in this half. So when you start looking at when our score was 21-7, now 24-7, now all of a sudden Baker scores 2 quick touchdowns.
Right.
They get a lot of momentum and juice. Now you can't take the air out of the balloon if you're the Hornet hooligans and the Hornet fans.
Right.
You have to find a way to stay true to with Joshua Flowers, taking what the defense gives you, and go ahead and answer that score because you have 2 timeouts remaining, which is an eternity in football in regards to clock management.
Looks like Baker has 3, Corey, so they haven't used one. Daphne's down to 1 timeout. Hawkins goes into motion. The hook and lateral from Javen Williams to Jamari Hawkins. Chase Calcagney going back old school with the hook and lateral.
That's a way to get both your playmakers to football.
That's right.
Your quarterback to your top 2 wide receivers. And he just ran out of space, but excellently executed by the Hornets trying to move the sticks in this situation. We're able to get close to 9 yards on that play. 2nd down and 1 yard to go. Positive yardage.
Hornets down 2 scores. 6.5 minutes remaining here in the ball game. A must-score situation here for Baker. Flowers steps into the pocket, and the pocket collapses on him with a familiar face, Johnny Purdue.
Well, what happens is, as we're continuing for the temperature to drop, it's close to 66 degrees now. The dew has started to settle on this grass here at Clem Richardson Stadium, and because of it, Flowers was not able to get his footing. You're starting to see a lot of slipping and sliding by all players involved, so we'll see if footing plays an issue for the last 40 of this contest, but now you're looking at a 3rd down and 1 yard to go again for Baker.
Quick handoff to Jamari Hawkins. He's tripped up as he goes past the line of scrimmage. Someone's got their big paw down there and tripped him up, Corey.
Well, that does move the sticks for the Baker Hornets, and it does stop the clock, as you're going to have to quickly go ahead and get 2 or 3 plays ready to reload, because you don't want to rely, if you do score on an onside kick, dictating this game, because it is a 2-score contest.
Clock is running. 1st down and 10. Flowers airs it out to Hawkins. Hawkins on the move. One got to beat. Hawkins to the house for the Hornets, Corey, and they go wild.
Hawkins makes a house call, and that was a wonderfully thrown ball by Josh Flowers, but an even better yard after catch. The yak yards
that's right.
by Hawkins were very impressive, but that's exactly what you needed from a timely standpoint. You didn't waste a timeout. You had an explosive play, which is our longest play of the contest by either one of these teams, and the point after pending is going to be huge for the Baker Hornets.
Hunter Kilgore on for the extra point. And Kilgore punches it through. And once again, Baker within 3. When I say it's getting good, I mean it is really getting good. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
Baker down 3 points at the 4:54 mark of the 4th quarter. When you thought they were out of it, you better think again, because Corey, they've already tried the onside kick. That didn't work, but they put on the Jamari Hawkins show, and that worked.
Well, we've been waiting for the explosive plays to come from either one of these offenses in regards to anything over 20 yards or more, and that's exactly what we saw. Hawkins was able to make 3 defenders miss, got great blocking down the field, and made the house call.
They're going to punch this one downfield. Daphne would have returned up to about the 30. So, Corey, we've seen a block punt, we've seen a fake punt, we've seen an onside kick. Ball recovered in the end zone.
A made field goal, so all aspects of special teams have been in play tonight for sure. We know there's 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and you can never count out special teams.
We have a Hornet down on the field near the 35-yard line on the far side. And Corey, as I begin to think about a Career Tech Education Player of the Game, right now my thoughts are it could be someone from Daphne, it could be someone for Baker right now. This ball game is literally up in the air with Baker down 3 and once again calling up the Uber to Uncle Mo. You never know what can happen at this point.
And again, you have to love the fact that this is a great high school football atmosphere with the Hornet Hooligans on their 2021 homecoming, making a difference. The fans here getting Baker back involved and the juice that the players are feeding off of from the fans. But we'll see right here, J.C. Todd has to dial it up right here defensively to get this huge stop to allow Josh Flowers an opportunity to take the lead once again.
Daphne has 1 timeout. Baker has 3. They're going to this Wildcat formation. Direct snap to Nick Clark. The Hornets pull him down right about at the 30-yard line, maybe a yard and a half gain on that play.
And that's a big-time play by Donald Caver. 6 foot, 222 pounds, senior from his defensive end spot, making a big stop. And not a lot of yardage being gained on that first down play by the Trojans.
Hornets defense trying to step it up right now. Lacey looks to the sideline, taking his time. No need to rush for the Trojans, but picking up the first down is critical. Daphne throwing. Incomplete, trying to reach Caleb Jones. Jones been thrown at 4 times tonight, two out of 4 on his receptions.
Here's the story of the game. Can you get off the field on 3rd and 4th down? More importantly, you get this stop right here on 3rd down and 9 yards to go. The Trojans converted on 4th down and 8 moments ago.
And it was huge, yeah, sure did.
So here's the defensive stop of the game that has to come up for the Hornets.
I had a feeling that was going to happen. Lacey was going to run, gets out of the pocket. Was it an interception? Corey was near the sideline, or was it incomplete? I haven't seen a call yet.
It's going to be an incomplete.
So it's incomplete. We didn't see the call exactly, but incomplete pass.
And Javen Williams
I don't think
back
in this
deep.
situation, Coach King may roll the dice like he did in the 3rd quarter. Take a look at the replay right here.
They have a rugby-style punter, though. In that situation, they're always dangerous. And Lacey, with that sidearm, almost throws an interception.
Almost picked off.
And that interception would have been by Jaden Campbell, the 6 foot, 170-pound junior. But here's Javen Williams with an opportunity to return.
Baylor Beard, he does all the kicking and punting and everything. Takes that one the traditional route. Baker trying to set up something for Javen Williams as he gets to the 48-yard line. So here we go, folks. 3:43 remaining in the contest. Baker has the ball, down 3 points. And the 3 is huge because a win tonight would give them possibly the number 3 seed in the region, Corey.
Well, if you need to phone a friend, tell them to go ahead and tune in to the MCPSS television network for the last 3:43 of this 7A Region 1 matchup, because the second half has been as advertised here
it really
for
has.
both of these teams coming into the contest. And you're looking at the Trojans have already scored their average of points per game. Baker, if they do score, they will surpass their points per game.
All right, here we go. 1st and 10, ball on the 48. Flowers going to keep it. And boy, he puts both of his hands around it so it is not punched out. Smart move by the sophomore right there. Picks up about 5 or 6 on that carry.
And now you mentioned it in the 3rd quarter. The difference was Josh Flowers reading the defense and running the football instead of going ahead and looking for his wide receivers. The pocket collapsed because he wasn't looking to run and tuck the football under his arm and take it up for positive yardage. He decided to start doing that, and because of it now, the Hornets have been ignited here in the second half offensively.
Zion Davis lined up in the pistol formation. Hawkins goes into motion. Zion Davis can't get that block.
That was a busted play.
And I believe you're right, Corey.
It was a
Hawkins was
play.
going one way. Davis went here. He couldn't make the block, and the defender ran right around him.
Anytime you see your quarterback tippy-toeing, trying to push his lineman, you know it's a busted play. Let's take a look at that replay if we're able to. You look at Hawkins going left and Flowers going right, and as he tried to hand it off, no one was home.
No one was home.
And because of it, you know, he had to tuck it and run it.
3rd and about 4 coming up here for the Hornets. Here it comes. Flowers decides to keep it. He did not toss it to Hawkins. He dove on the inside, picked up maybe 1 or 2, Corey.
It's going to be 4th down in inches. And football in life is a game of inches. 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of action. Looks like we're going to have a timeout call.
That's Steve Norman. So it looks like a solid 4th and 1 if you look to the far side there at the down marker. Coach Norman needs to make the call right here along with his offensive coordinator, Chase Cagney, to draw up the play they need. Now, Corey, we've seen Flowers stretch out of Hawkins. They should be good for 1 yard if you spread this thing out, but you never know, as the way Daphne has been hitting those gaps tonight.
Well, you have Flowers, and we have not seen him under center the entire game. That's not the style of Baker Hornet football. Now, we'll see if Atlas Heron, the defensive coordinator for the Trojans, can get his players aligned correctly here to come up with a huge stop. But this is the play of the game with 2:01 remaining. Can the Hornets extend the contest, or will it be a turnover on downs?
Zion Davis just to the right of Josh Flowers. It's homecoming night here for the Hornets. And that home hive advantage trying to work to their advantage. They give it to Jamari Hawkins. He gets the yard, Corey. All he needed to get was 1 yard to stop the clock and pick up the first down. And from my indication, that should be a first down.
The Trojans coaching staff is saying he did not get it, but looks like we're definitely going to have to measure here to see exactly where they're going to spot the football, and they are signaling for the chains to come in.
From my angle here atop the press box, he should have had the first down, so it depends on where that spot was at. Keep in mind the chains will have to come from the far side to come to the near hash over here.
And you better believe all eyes are on the pigskin here at Clem Richardson Stadium as the ball is spotted right at close to the 37-yard line of the Trojans. And it's going to be very close. The crowd will tell the story behind this.
They sure will. I'm not surprised at all, Corey. I hate to say it, you couldn't even stretch the chain out because the chain was already stretched out. So he had the first down by 2 footballs.
And as they wanted to make sure it measured, you know, you like the fact that the officiating crew takes the time to go ahead and get that done. But now 1:44 remaining, Baker trailing 28-31. The ball is in Trojan territory, Al. And if you're Flowers and if you're the Baker Hornets, you want to make sure you don't have any penalties that put you behind down and distance-wise.
That's right.
And you want to make sure you protect the football at all costs.
Ball is closer to the 36 than the 37. 1st and 10 for the Hornets. Flowers flushed out. He's got heat on him, and he's got a man deep. That pass is caught. J-Vin Williams, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's exactly what you read as the quarterback. Top of the screen, Williams was letting them know, I have one-on-one coverage. The pocket rolls to the strong side of the left, which is the side that Williams was running his route on.
What a catch.
And it was great concentration by J-Vin Williams, the 6', 160-pound senior, coming up with a huge catch for the Baker Hornets. Now they're in the red zone area, close to the 2-yard line of the Trojans.
And Corey, did you see the arm strength of Josh Flowers rolling to his weak side, his left side? He's right-handed as he stepped into that one and threw it up top for Williams. And Baker's going to call a timeout right here. I think this is a very smart move. You want to calm everyone down, get you maybe 2-3 good play calls ready as you have 1 timeout remaining. And we have 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in this contest for this 7A Region 1 battle. In essence, it's a battle for the number 3 seed for the playoffs.
Doesn't get any better than what we're seeing right here. 7A Region 1 action, an opportunity to have the number 3 seed and go into the playoffs with a lot of momentum in regards to winning your 2021 homecoming game. And, you know, when you look down the line several years later, you always remember what it felt like for your senior year to be part of homecoming and have the win on your field. So here it is. We're a couple of yards away, if you're a Baker Hornet fan, to go ahead and taking the lead back. Your first lead since 7-0 in the first quarter.
And Coach Norman said, you know, this week has been huge for the school. These kids, they didn't get a homecoming last year. So this is really huge as we were going through COVID and distance learning and all that stuff last year. Just to have some football was good. So he said for these kids to have their homecoming, it has really been a big thing. Ball's on the 2-yard line. Rod Taylor just to the right of Flowers. Taylor's going to block as Flowers runs up in the hole, but we have a flag, possibly an offsides against Daphne.
And that's something that
that's
if you're Daphne,
I saw.
You don't want to see, but
no.
They are going to walk it off by half a yard.
That was a good play call they had dialed up. They gave that last short run to Rod Taylor, who picked up the 1-yard touchdown. He was going to provide the blocking for Flowers.
Now, if you are running the football and you decide to stretch out by any means, make sure that you don't fumble the football. That's the biggest thing. Just pigskin security here in goal line situations. Josh Flowers going to take the snap back.
I'm saying it's Flowers into the end zone right here myself. Flowers into the end zone for the score, and the Hornets regain the lead. And the crowd goes wild.
Well, you talked about the demoralizing conversion for Daphne on 4th down and 8.
Right.
But Baker was able to find a way to put that behind him, and Flowers now with the 12th rushing touchdown of the season. And he gets the Hornet hooligans very excited as, again, they take their first lead since 7-0 in the first quarter of action.
Hunter Kilgore on for a huge extra point. And that is up, and it is good, 35-31. Let's take it back and look at that big pass to Javen Williams.
At the
that
top
set
of
up
the
this play.
screen, you have Javen Williams in one-on-one coverage, and that's going to be Flowers on the quarterback keeper to go ahead and extend
here it
that
is right here,
fourth
Corey.
down. But Williams runs to his left, Flowers runs to his left, and he goes ahead and throws it inbounds to where his 6-foot wide receiver can go up and catch the football. Great job of high pointing the football. Javen Williams, who's also a basketball player for Coach David Armstrong, shows his hops there as a wide receiver, and that's just a big-time play now as the Baker Hornets averaging on the season 32 points per game, now have 35 on the scoreboard, and more importantly, have a 4-point lead over the Daphne Trojans to where they kicked a field goal right before halftime. A field goal is not going to do enough for you right here.
Here's a stat for you, Corey. Since 2000, Daphne is 8-28 if they allow more than 30 points. Right now, the score 35-31. Baker on top, and it was huge to get that extra point. That takes the field goal out of play now.
And more importantly, all time, Baker is 0-9 versus Daphne.
That's right. They're trying to get their first ever win against the Daphne Trojans. Adam Gatta on to kick this one. I would say you want to keep this away from Stephon Blacksher if you can. Try to boom it into the end zone.
Keep it in play. You don't want to.
That goes out of bounds. You don't want that, Corey. Take a look at the scoring drive summary. 48 yards, 6 plays, 2 minutes, 37 seconds, capped off by that 1-yard run by Josh Flowers. But very, very critical play was that huge pass from Flowers to Hawkins. As our scoring summary so far, Corey, the second half, as you said, has lived up to the billing of this matchup.
And here you can't get too comfortable if you're the Baker Hornets as far as defense. You don't want to play prevent defense to the fact to where you allow the Trojans to dink and dunk their way down the football field and put themselves in scoring position to win the football game. So, again, you don't want to let anything get behind you,
right?
Of course, but when we're talking about here kicking this football off, the Baker Hornets are going to have an opportunity to, again, play off of the momentum of their cheerleaders, their student body, their band, their fans,
the
Hornet hooligans, or go ahead and trying to protect this hive of their house.
So Kenny King is going to make Baker kick it again. Gotta now. Going to re-tee it at the 35. Let's see if he's boots this one more toward the middle. Kind of put a little draw on it. Nice breeze coming in from the north. Knocks it right up the middle. Was that touched? I believe it was. Nope, touchback. Cam Long, can't believe it. They're going to have to get it at the 20. He tried to get it off the short hop, Corey, but couldn't recover.
The biggest thing now for the Baker Hornet defense is to make sure that you don't allow any wide receivers to get behind you. So 108 is an eternity in regards to what you work on from a Zach Golson offensive standpoint. You work on your 2-minute drill and this situational drill at least once or twice a week in practice. So the Trojans will be prepared here. What will the young quarterback, who's a freshman, KJ Lacey, be able to do on this drive?
80 yards to try to win the game for the Trojans. Lacey hands it off. Watch it, Corey. The trickeration. That pass is complete to Caleb Jones at the 45 as he took the pass from Stephon Blackshear on the end-around throw.
The thing is, the clock does stop when they spot the ball, but if you're the Hornet defense, again, that prevent defense, you cannot allow anything to get behind you. You don't want to get caught peeking in the backfield.
That's right. Lacey throws it, and he thought his receiver was going to do like a hitch and go, but Stacy Boykins turned back to come toward him, and Lacey went deep.
Sometimes that's the best thing that can happen for you because you get more time on the play clock. You get an opportunity for the clock to stop with 47.2 seconds remaining. With the ball remaining right at your own 46-yard line, it gives your offensive coordinator an opportunity to settle down his quarterback and get his wide receivers on the same page.
Daphne now 54 yards away from trying to win this ball game and capture the number 3 seed in Region 1A. Lacey rolls out. Pass incomplete. Receiver could not bring it in. Third and 10 coming up here for the Trojans. So as we like to say, Corey, when we sit back at the house and watch it, don't think of the entire 10. You got 2 plays to get 10 yards right here.
Absolutely, and again, this is definitely 4-down territory. 3rd down and 10 yards to go. You don't want any penalties if you're the Baker Hornets.
Lacey's going to take off and run. He has enough to get the 1st down. Does not get out of bounds. Going to stop the clock momentarily. He went down a bit rough as he tried to slide, Corey. And they're past the 40.
He does show his speed, but he did want to step out of bounds here, but he does get that 1st down as they're looking to clock this football here.
I think they're going to clock it. They clock it with 26.1 seconds remaining. Baker on top by 4. Daphne needing a touchdown to get the win. A field goal does nothing for them.
And we mentioned that we do have contenders down here in 7A, but there will be a new number 1 in 7A as Hoover defeats Thompson tonight at the Hoover Met.
Trip receivers to the top. Bradley's a junior talking to the freshman quarterback, calming him down. Lacey showing great composure here. Airs it out. There it is once again. Corey intercepted. Lacey threw it up, and that pass intercepted by Calvin Irby. I think Lacey thought the receiver was going deep, and when he came back toward it, once again, he was trying to connect with Stacy Boykins. Communication off.
But it's going to go back to Irby having his 3rd interception of the season. Calvin Irby, the 5'11", 172-pound junior, comes away with the biggest completion in regards to reception of the contest for the Baker Hornets, trying to seal the deal here. There are penalty flags on the play, so we'll see if those are post-possession penalty flags or whether they were live ball fouls. That's going to be the biggest thing that we're going to talk about. And anytime you pull out the pad, as we see Charlie Ship getting ready to document, whether we have a situation to where it will be time on the clock, whether it will be ejections, exactly what we have here in regards to these penalty flags will yet to be determined. But when we start talking about and going back to the checklist, the young and the restless were one of the things that Daphne needed to worry about because they're so young. The quarterback just unfortunately made a throw that was not on the same page as a wide receiver, but he'll continue to grow and learn from that.
And speaking of quarterbacks, Corey, you said we had 2 number 8s tonight, and one number 8 here for the Baker Hornets, Josh Flowers, our Career Tech Education Player of the Game. Pretty much in the second half, he had to put the team on his back, as we called for him to do, Corey, run the ball a bit more because Daphne's coverage, he couldn't connect with a lot of receivers. So as you can see, the call unsportsmanlike against Daphne, and that's going to push, that's 2 unsportsmanlike. That's going to push the ball down 30 yards, Corey, as Baker will get this ball at the 28-yard line of Daphne.
Well, you talk about Flowers rushing for over 700 yards coming into this game and having 11 rushing touchdowns and then throwing for almost 1,400 yards. And then tonight, go ahead and adding to that rushing touchdown total by that late score that he did have. So that's huge. And Baker Homecoming 2021 is going to be a successful one for Steve Norman, as they are going to secure the 3rd seed.
As Josh Flowers takes the knee as our Career Tech Education Player of the Game. Not only, Corey, as you just said, they're going to secure the number 3 seed, Baker has just defeated Daphne for the first time ever in the history of the program. It took 10 tries, but they did it on the 10th try, 35-31. We've witnessed history tonight.
And we talked about phoning a friend to see the fantastic finish tonight, and we knew that we were going to have a great game in store for you on the MCPSS television network, and it lived up to the billing. And this will be a game that Steve Norman will never forget. 1, because he won it.
That's
2,
right.
because his daughter is homecoming,
She's the homecoming queen.
So it doesn't get any better for Steve Norman as the head football coach and the Norman family tonight here at Clem Richardson Stadium.
I mean, this is a huge win for the Baker Hornets as they try to solidify themselves and make it into the playoffs for another time. But most importantly, Corey, trying to pick up their 2nd playoff win if they can. We put up the Game of the Week Brainbuster. They've only won 1 time in the playoffs.
Absolutely, but the thing at the beginning of the year is to find a way to get into the playoffs.
Correct.
Because anything can happen, and that just gives you a lot of momentum. And Baker's in a situation to where this school has continued to be on the uptick, and we saw them go up 14-0 against Theodore earlier in the year and lose that lead here at home.
Sure did.
We saw them go up here early, trail late, and Uncle Mo showed up, and they found a way to go ahead and ride that momentum to a victory tonight.
They rode the Uber and the Lyft tonight. Let's take a look at the statistics. Here are the stat numbers for tonight, Corey, and look at the offensive output by the Baker Hornets. 408 yards. They actually averaged 410 a ball game, so they hit their average tonight. And look at the rushing yards for Daphne. Wow, 237 yards. Let's take it down to the field right now. Kimberly Dunn is with winning head coach Steve Norman.
Norman, congratulations on the win tonight. There's a lot of to getting this win tonight.
Oh, it's huge for us. It's huge because now we're 3rd, and that helps us out tremendously. Anytime we can up your ante a little bit in the playoffs, it's a great thing. And what's great about this more than anything is the way these kids fought back, never gave up, kept fighting no matter what, and regardless of circumstances, turnovers, kept fighting no matter, and that's awesome as a coach to have players like that.
Yes, and this is an extra special. Only did you homecoming, so your daughter was crowned homecoming queen.
Right, my daughter got homecoming queen, which was awesome, and my staff is unbelievable. They put together a great game plan, made great adjustments at halftime. Look, as head coaches, we get a lot more credit. Those guys are the ones that do all the work, and it proved tonight.
Yes, well, congratulations, Coach, on that win, and the best of luck to y'all the rest of the season.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kimberly. As you can see, Buzz right there jamming. Corey, Baker gets their first ever win over Daphne. For Corley Bound and Kimberly Dunn, statistician Matt Moore and China Powell, our executive producer Quentin Howard, director Wade Ford, and engineer Fran Conway. We appreciate you joining us tonight for another contest. Next week, we're going to wrap up the season. We'll come back to the Hornets' Nest. It'll be Davidson versus Baker for our next MCPSS high school football game of the week, brought to you by Bishop State. Baker gets the win. Have yourself a great weekend.